Chapter 1035. Primordial Demon Region, Jinling City. The 9 geniuses of the 100 Races competition had gathered. Their names had shaken the world. In Jinling City, the third prince of the Sky Devil royal family was ordered by the sovereign to lead 9 people to the heavenly devil pool. In the primordial demon realm, there were hundreds of tribes, and the heavenly demon clan was undoubtedly the most powerful among them. However, other than the heavenly demon clan, the other large clans were not to be underestimated, especially the Scaled clan, the Sorcerer clan, the Golden Lion clan, and the other royal clans. Although their overall strength was not as great as the heavenly demon clan, they were still not to be underestimated. The 100 Races competition was the result of the game between the various large races. In the future war with the realm beyond heaven, the Heavenly Devil clan would undoubtedly be the leader of the 100 Races. In order to appease the other races, they had to show the corresponding sincerity. Anyone who made it to the top of the golden roll could enter the Heavenly Devil pool to cultivate for 100 days. How much benefit they could obtain would depend on their own luck. The Heavenly Demon clan was famous for their powerful physical bodies, and no other clan could match them. Even the Scaled clan, who claimed to have the strongest defense among the 100 clans, did not dare to go against them. The heavenly demon forging body required a lot of tempering, and entering the heavenly demon pool to cultivate was an essential step. However, the location of the heavenly demonic pool had always been a secret of the heavenly demonic royal family. Apart from the direct descendants of the royal family and a few extremely high-ranking experts of the royal family, no one else knew about it. In this 100-tribe competition, the goal of all the major tribes was not only the emperor-level absolute treasure, the yin-yang non-jade, but also the opportunity to enter the heavenly devil pool. 10 spots was the final agreement between the 100 Races and the Sky Devil royal family. It was also the Sky Devil royal family's bottom line. 700 miles north of Jinling City, Xianqing brought the 9 people and walked away from the Devil City. The surroundings gradually quieted down. Hong Yuan, Jin Lin, and the others looked around at the desolate wasteland. Their faces turned serious. Was the heavenly demon pool here? It was so desolate that they couldn't even see a single guard. 9th Imperial Uncle. On the wasteland, Xianqing stopped and bowed respectfully. As soon as he finished speaking, a dim light flourished between heaven and earth. The surrounding space suddenly shook, and the scene changed, shocking everyone. When Ningchen saw this, his eyes involuntarily trembled. Impossible! Forbidden of the netherworld! Why would the Heavenly Devil clan have the forbidden underworld spring? The 100 Races and the human race each had their own strengths and weaknesses. Logically speaking, the celestial devils were not good at this and could not deduce the changes of the divine restriction to such an extent. The 3 great divine prohibitions were different from any other martial arts in the world. They were extremely difficult to master, and the requirements for comprehension and intelligence were extremely harsh. There were very few people in the human race who could master them, let alone the Heavenly Devil clan who excelled in strength but not in intelligence. However, the person who set up the divine restriction in front of him was clearly close to reaching greater mastery. With tens of thousands of transformations, he would be able to seal the world. It was no wonder that the 100 tribes had not been able to find the location of the heavenly demon pool for so many years. With the forbidden land of the underworld as a barrier, even the sorcerer tribe found it difficult to find traces of it. To a large clan like the sorcerer tribe that was famous for their knowledge of the mysteries of the heavens, the 3 divine prohibitions were undoubtedly their greatest nemesis. While they were thinking, the divine restriction opened in front of the 9 people. The heavenly demon pool, which had never appeared before the eyes of the world for countless years, appeared. It was a bottomless pool with the sun and the moon separated. One was yin and one was yang. Demonic qi surged. The incomparably pure demonic qi did not carry any negative energy, making it hard for people to look away. When mortals fell into the demonic path, they would lose their hearts. Most of the humans who stepped into the demonic path would have their hands stained with blood. The biggest reason was not the influence of power, but the loss of their hearts. At the beginning of any power, there was no distinction between good and evil. It was the same for divine essence, immortal power, and demonic chi. What gave power the right and wrong was always the human heart, not the power itself. Beside the heavenly demon pool, a peach blossom tree swayed with the wind. Under the tree, a middle-aged man who reeked of alcohol gulped down mouthful after mouthful of wine. His clothes were ragged, and he did not look like a member of the royal family at all. Ninth uncle. Xianqing stepped forward and bowed respectfully again. He said, "Father and eighth uncle have asked me to bring these people into the heavenly demon pool." Under the peach blossom tree, the middle-aged man ignored him. He continued to gulp down mouthful after mouthful of wine. His eyes were dull, and there was no sign of vitality. Xianqing sighed in his heart and did not say anything more. He looked at the 9 people behind him and said, "Go in and choose a suitable place. You only have 100 days, so please cherish it." Hearing this, Jinlinger and the others stepped toward the heavenly demon pool. 100 days was very short, and they could not afford to waste it. Behind them, Ningchen glanced at the middle-aged man under the peach blossom tree, and a trace of fear flashed through his heart. This man's strength was definitely above King Shuri's. King Shuri was already a top king realm expert, and he was only 1 step away from attaining the emperor realm. The middle-aged man in front of him did not have an invincible pressure like Emperor Shi and Emperor Go, which meant that he had not entered the monarch realm yet. However, this man gave him a sense of danger that surpassed any king realm expert he had ever met. Under the peach blossom tree, the middle-aged man felt the gaze from the heavenly demon pool, but he ignored it. He silently drank the strong wine and numbed himself day after day. In front of the heavenly demon pool, Ningchen withdrew his gaze and stepped into the heavenly demon pool without thinking anymore. The cold water was bone-piercing. In the moon pool, Ningchen closed his eyes and began to absorb the demonic qi in the pool. In the sun pool not far away, Hong Yuan, Yuan Tian, and the others also began to cultivate and temper their bodies. In front of the heavenly demon pool, after watching the 9 people enter, Xianqing shifted his gaze and looked at the man under the peach blossom tree again. He had heard from his father that in the endless history of the heavenly demon imperial family, the 9th imperial uncle's aptitude could be said to be the best. He stepped into the immortal realm in 100 years, spent 300 years in the mortal world, and entered the king realm in less than 1,000 years. His cultivation speed was so fast that it was shocking. However, in the end, the 9th imperial uncle chose to give up on himself because of a human woman, and he would forever stop before the monarch realm. The heavenly demons were fickle, and the imperial family was even more so. Only the 9th imperial uncle was an exception. He was deeply in love, but in the end he was trapped by love. In the heavenly demon pool, as time passed, the 9 geniuses of the 100 races all entered a meditative state and used all their strength to temper their bodies with the power of the heavenly demon pool. This was a rare opportunity, and no one wanted to waste a second. They circulated their cultivation and absorbed the demonic qi of the heavenly demon pool into their bodies. In the moon pool, a white-haired figure in plain clothes stood quietly. Using the main body as a cover, he helped the demonic body absorb the power of the heavenly demon pool. Not enough. Within the main body, the demonic body roared angrily. His desire for power was becoming more and more difficult to suppress. Ningchen opened his eyes and glanced at the middle-aged man under the peach blossom tree. After a long time, he made up his mind and said, "Let's go all out. Do whatever you want. I'll cover you." "All right." The demonic body replied. Demonic qi spread out silently in the heavenly demon pool and madly devoured the power of the moon pool. Ningchen formed seals with both hands. The yellow springs and the divine time seal were activated simultaneously. They spread out for thousands of feet and sealed off the surrounding space. In front of the heavenly demon pool, Xianqing looked at the 9 of them quietly. His gaze swept past the young man in plain clothes in the moon pool from time to time. He still couldn't see through this person. It was as if he had appeared out of thin air in this world, and he shocked the world with lightning speed. Such an expert shouldn't be unknown. However, even if he used the power of the imperial family, he still couldn't find out anything about this person. There was definitely a reason behind this abnormality. This person's background was definitely unusual, so he had to observe carefully. Under the peach blossom tree, the middle-aged man drank all the strong wine in the jar. He glanced at the wine jars piled up into a mountain, and confusion flashed through his eyes. "Someone, go and get the wine." The middle-aged man threw the wine jar in his hand aside and shouted. With an angry shout, the entire divine prohibition space was filled with thunder and lightning. The sound of thunder was deafening. In the heavenly demon pool, the 8 of them were all awakened by the angry shout. Their cultivation techniques backfired, and the corners of their mouths turned red. In front of the heavenly demon pool, Xianqing's expression changed slightly. He looked at the middle-aged man under the peach blossom tree and said, "Imperial uncle, please don't be angry. I'll go and get the wine now." After that, Xianqing glanced at the 9 people in the heavenly demon pool and quickly walked out of the divine prohibition space. Did he see wrongly just now? The 9th imperial uncle's angry shout had backfired on the 2 successors of the Golden Lion tribe and the Scaled tribe. That young man called Ningchen didn't seem to be affected at all. While he was thinking, Xianqing walked out of the divine prohibition space and quickly flew toward Jinling City. In the heavenly demon pool, the yellow springs and the time seal were activated together, sealing the space within thousands of feet and blocking all auras. Within the divine prohibition space, demonic chi spread out invisibly and madly devoured the energy of the heavenly demon pool. It wasn't affected by the commotion from before at all. At the same time, in the depths of the primeval devil region, numerous extremely powerful auras floated up and down. Even the weakest one wasn't inferior to the king realm. I haven't seen 9th brother for a long time. I wonder how he is now. Among the numerous powerful auras, one person spoke and sighed lightly. What else can he do? He's just a drunkard. He's useless. Another person spoke coldly. 5th brother, you've gone too far. A third person spoke calmly. That's the truth. 9th brother is just a drunkard now. He's useless. The first person spoke again and mocked. Silence. Right at this moment, an extremely dignified voice resounded from the numerous powerful auras, and it stopped them from continuing. When they heard this, they immediately fell silent and didn't speak any further. 7th brother, there seems to be something wrong with the heavenly demon pool. Have you noticed it? Another extremely powerful existence spoke. There is indeed something wrong. The loss of demonic chi is beyond our expectations. With the cultivation of those young people, it shouldn't be like this. Let Xianqing find out what's going on. Understood. In Jinling City, Xianqing brought over 1,000 jars of strong wine and turned into a ray of light as he headed north. 700 miles north, Xianqing arrived. He walked into the divine prohibition space and placed the 1,000 jars of strong wine in front of the apricot tree. Under the apricot tree, a middle-aged man raised his hand and grabbed a jar of strong wine, and he drank it in big gulps. Xianqing. At this moment, a dignified voice resounded in the heavens and the earth. There's a change in the heavenly demon pool. The loss of demonic chi is too fast. Find out the reason. Yes. Xianqing's expression turned solemn when he heard this, and he replied. Within the heavenly demon pool, Ningchen supported the 2 divine prohibitions as he asked solemnly, how much longer? If this continues, it's very likely that someone will notice that something is wrong. 10 days. The demon body spoke and replied. Chapter 1036. 700 miles north of Jinling City, in the God-forbidden space, the 9 young geniuses entered the heavenly demon pool to temper their bodies for 100 days. In the moon pool, Ningchen activated the 2 God-forbidden space and time to help his demon body devour the spiritual chi in the heavenly demon pool. About a month after they entered the heavenly demon pool, 2 heavenly demon emperors noticed the changes in the heavenly demon pool. They immediately ordered Xianqing to investigate the source of the changes. In front of the heavenly demon pool, Xianqing, who received the order, scanned the 9 geniuses in the pool, looking for abnormalities. However, as time passed, Xianqing did not find anything wrong with the 9 geniuses. In the moon pool, Ningchen closed his eyes and maintained the God-forbidden space. His divine consciousness was paying attention to the changes in front of the heavenly demon pool. Under the peach blossom tree, thousands of jars of liquor were piled up into a mountain. The strong smell of liquor permeated the entire God-forbidden space. In front of the mountain, a middle-aged man leaned against the peach blossom tree, looking dispirited. His eyes were dull, and he did not look at anyone else. In front of the heavenly demon pool, 2 days had passed. Xianqing kept looking at the 9 geniuses and frowned. Strange, there was nothing wrong with them. Father's orders would not be wrong. There must be something wrong with the heavenly demon pool. Why did he not see anything wrong? After thinking for a long time, Xianqing looked at the middle-aged man under the peach blossom tree. After thinking for a while, he stepped forward and bowed. He said respectfully, "Ninth uncle, there is something wrong with the heavenly demon pool. The spiritual qi is being consumed too quickly. However, my cultivation is limited, so I can't see where the problem is. I hope ninth uncle can give me some advice." Under the peach blossom tree, the middle-aged man did not seem to hear Xianqing's words. He was still drinking the liquor in the jar silently. The liquor spilled out, wetting half of his clothes. As the liquor entered his throat, he felt a strong burning sensation, intoxicating him. However, the past was like dust. He could not forget it even with thousands of jars of liquor. In front of the peach blossom tree, Xianqing looked at the ninth uncle. After waiting for an hour, he did not get any reply. He sighed and gave up. Xianqing turned around and looked at the heavenly demon pool in front of him. He walked in step by step. In the sun pool, the water was unbearably hot. Xianqing did not feel it. He walked in front of the golden lion and felt the changes in the surrounding demonic qi. Sensing someone approaching, Hong Yuan's eyes abruptly opened, and a clear killing intent flashed through them. "Your Highness Xianqing, what is the meaning of this?" Hong Yuan spoke in a deep voice as he looked at the person before him. "I had no choice. Please forgive me." Xianqing said apologetically, "Your Highness Hong Yuan, there's no need to pay attention to it. Just continue cultivating." When Hong Yuan heard this, the coldness in his eyes did not fade. He said, "Will His Highness Xianqing choose to meditate in front of a stranger?" Xianqing was silent for a long time before he said, "I'm sorry." Although he was apologizing, his attitude was not to be changed. Xianqing stood quietly in front of Hong Yuan and did not move half a step. Hong Yuan stared at the person in front of him, his eyes filled with coldness. This third prince of the celestial devil royal family was behaving strangely. Could it be that something had happened? Thinking up to this point, Hong Yuan's eyes swept across the entire heavenly demon pool. After a while, he withdrew his gaze and didn't see anything unusual. For a day, Xianqing stood in front of Hong Yuan, motionless. Not him. A day later, a majestic voice sounded in Xianqing's ears. "The power of the heavenly demon pool is still rapidly depleting. Go and check on the others." "Understood." Xianqing nodded. He glanced at Hong Yuan, who was 100 feet away, and bowed apologetically. Then he walked towards the royal family of the Scale tribe. In the moon pool, Ningchen looked at the third prince of the celestial devil royal family. They were exposed. "There are still 9 days left. Can you hold on?" The demonic body asked in a low voice. "Just cultivate. I'll think of a way to deal with it." Ningchen replied in a serious tone. The demonic body heard this and didn't say anything else. He focused on cultivating the demonic body. In the sun pool, Xianqing stayed in front of Jin Lin for another day. After a day, he walked towards the next target. Ningchen's eyes became more serious. There was no doubt that someone in the celestial devil royal family had noticed the abnormality in the heavenly demon pool. Xianqing's actions meant that he was not sure who caused the abnormality in the heavenly demon pool. There were still 9 days before the demonic body's cultivation ended. According to Xianqing's speed, he would probably find them before the demonic body's cultivation ended. Now, he could only take a gamble. As he thought about it, a strange light rose around Ningchen. Within 1,000 feet, time flew rapidly in the God Prohibition space. Inside and outside the God Prohibition space, the time difference was several times. It made the dissipation of spiritual qi in the entire heavenly demon pool terrifying. A shocking whirlpool appeared in the middle of the sun-moon pool, shocking everyone present. In the sun pool, Xian Qing's eyes darkened. He glanced at the 9 people with murderous intent. Just as Ji Ming was putting all his eggs in one basket, in the deepest part of the primeval demon realm, among the many powerful auras, the 7 luminaries divine emperors suddenly opened his eyes. He looked in the direction of the heavenly demon pool with a cold look. What a bold young man! How dare he challenge the dignity of the celestial devil clans so openly? Haven't you found out who it is? A powerful being with a powerful aura asked in a low voice. It's too far. I can't see clearly. Xian Qing is already investigating, but it will take some time. The 7 luminaries divine emperor replied coldly. Haven't the 2 successors of the Golden Lion clan and the Scaled tribe been investigated? There's no need to worry about the other 7. We'll know once we capture them all. The 7 luminaries divine emperor rejected immediately. It's a critical period now. Although these royal tribes are not as powerful as the other sovereign tribes, they still have a lot of influence. Once their successors are treated unfairly in the primeval demon realm, these royal tribes will be even more disobedient to the celestial devil clan. Old Ninth is there. With his cultivation, it's impossible that he can't see it. Why is he taking so long to investigate? Another one of the many powerful auras asked coldly. What's the difference between Old Ninth and a cripple now? We might as well go there ourselves instead of counting on him, the 4th person said sarcastically. There's no need to say any more. Old Sixth, you go there. At this moment, the 2nd divine emperor among the crowd said calmly. Yes. The divine emperor gave the order. A person opened his eyes and stood up from the demonic chi that filled the sky. Immediately, an incomparably powerful pressure swept out, and the entire space in the depths of the primeval demon realm shook. In the next moment, the 6 Desires King stepped out and disappeared in an instant. 700 miles north of Jinling City, in the divine forbidden space, the heavenly demon pool changed. The pool water stirred and formed a huge whirlpool. The spiritual chi was rapidly depleted and disappeared without a trace. Xian Qing looked at the 9 people present with a cold expression. His demonic chi surged, and killing intent appeared for the first time. In the moon pool, Ningchen reversed the laws of time and space and changed the time within 1,000 feet to help the demonic body. Under the peach blossom tree, the middle-aged man did not care at all. He did not care at all as the spiritual chi in the heavenly demon pool was rapidly depleted. In the divine forbidden space, time flowed rapidly. Half a day was equivalent to several days in the divine forbidden space. Demonic chi surged around Ningchen and merged with the heavenly demon pool. The speed of absorbing demonic chi became more and more shocking. In the distance, demonic clouds surged. The heavenly demon 6 Desires King rushed over and was less than 100,000 miles away from Jinling City in the blink of an eye. The unusually powerful divine emperor's aura was shocking. Endless years of cultivation had added an aura of time to the divine emperor's body. It was ancient and heavy. 2 hours, 4 hours. Inside the heavenly demon pool, Ningchen maintained the divine forbidden space. His gaze became more and more serious. Soon, this was a once-in-a-century chance to temper his body. If he missed this chance, he might never get another chance. Ningchen rarely chose to risk everything. He ignored the consequences and helped the demonic body temper his physical body. Under the peach blossom tree, the middle-aged man casually threw the empty jug of wine to the side. The sound of something shattering rang out. It was very abrupt in the silent divine forbidden space. The crowd, who had been awakened by the heavenly demon pool's change, looked at the man under the peach blossom tree. At this moment, a terrifying demonic chi erupted from the heavenly demon pool. After an instant, everything returned to normal. With the divine forbidden space covering it, Xian Qing, Hong Yuan, and the others did not notice anything strange. In the moon pool, Ningchen secretly let out a sigh of relief. He had finally succeeded. However, just as Ningchen's heart was about to relax, demonic clouds appeared in the sky. A terrifying palm energy slammed down on the moon pool without hesitation. Its power was shocking, and it shocked everyone present. At the last moment, the 6 Desires King arrived. He saw the source of the heavenly demon pools change and slapped out. In the moon pool, Ning Chen felt the terrifying killing intent from the sky. His expression changed. He glanced at the middle-aged man under the peach blossom tree. Without hesitation, the power of the divine forbidden space spread out rapidly. Under the peach blossom tree, the middle-aged man felt the familiar yet strange aura around him. His turbid eyes gradually changed. Forbidden space of the underworld. His hoarse voice was very soft in the terrifying killing intent descending from the sky. However, everyone present heard it clearly. As soon as he finished speaking, the middle-aged man stood up. In an instant, the entire divine forbidden space started to collapse. Heaven and earth could not bear this terrifying power and disintegrated. A peerless king, the most talented genius of the heavenly demon clan in countless years, stood up and shook the world. With a step, the middle-aged man's figure disappeared instantly. When he reappeared, he was above the moon pool. He raised his right hand and blocked the monstrous demonic chi descending from the sky. This shocking scene shocked everyone. The all-out attack of a peerless king was easily blocked without any ripples. In the sky, the Six Desires King's figure descended. Looking at the figure above the moon pool, his expression darkened. "Old Nine, what is the meaning of this?" the Six Desires King shouted. "I'll protect this person." The middle-aged man stood in front of Ji Ming. Although he was 7 feet tall, he was as tall as a mountain, making it difficult for others to pass him. Behind the middle-aged man, Ning Chen's eyes narrowed. He had made the right bet. The underworld divine forbidden space was indeed very important to this peerless king of the heavenly demon imperial family. In the sky, the two kings faced each other. The Six Desires King looked at the middle-aged man below, his expression turning colder and colder. "Nine Nether, let me see how much you've improved over the years." Chapter 1037. Above the heavenly demon pool, the wind and clouds changed. Knowing destiny activated the divine restriction, which spread for thousands of miles and affected the 9 underworlds. In the blink of an eye, Xian Jiuyo rose to his feet and unleashed a palm strike. The two kings of the celestial devil imperial family stood facing each other. Their auras were shocking, and their demonic chi surged like waves. The Six Desires King was a peak king realm expert who was 1 step away from the monarch realm. He was one of the giants of the celestial devil imperial family, and his strength was terrifying. On the other hand, Xian Jiuyo, who was above the moon pool, reeked of alcohol. He hadn't used martial arts for many years. Although his cultivation was still strong, his aura was several times weaker. "Brother Jiuyo, let me experience the mysteries of your Jiuyo battle technique." The Void King and the Six Desires King moved, and demonic waves fell from the sky like boundless waves. It was an earth-shattering palm that could swallow the sky. The celestial devil Six Desires King was filled with murderous intent. He didn't show any mercy to his brother. Above the moon pool, Xian Jiuyo looked at the Six Desires King descending from the sky. He didn't move half a step. He clenched his right hand into a fist and met the attack. The fist and palm collided, and the demonic chi shook the world. The two peak kings clashed, and demonic chi surged out in waves, shocking the world. The celestial devil physical bodies were unparalleled in the world. The two used their peerless cultivation to take each other's attacks head-on. The shocking battle shocked everyone present. Xian Jiuyo didn't retreat. He clenched his fist and condensed Yuan Qi. He forcefully countered with a punch. The Six Desires King took the attack, and his mouth turned red. He was injured. After just a few moves, the battle had reached its climax. Demonic chi surged around the two, and their injuries quickly healed. The celestial devil physical bodies were almost indestructible. The two peak kings had refined their physical bodies to the extreme. Apart from emperors, no one could destroy them. Boom! Xian Jiuyo's turbid eyes became clearer and brighter after receiving countless punches and palms. Xian Jiuyo's eyes became clearer and brighter. After countless years of self-abandonment, the 9th prince of the Sky Devil Imperial family had already forgotten what it felt like to fight. Today, in this battle between kings, he had regained the heart of a warrior. Xianzhuyo suppressed the self-healing ability in his body. As he felt the pain from his injuries, the madness in his eyes grew stronger. The blood stimulated the madness of a demon. Xianzhuyo's battle intent, which had been hidden for many years, gradually awakened. His eyes burned like divine suns. Didn't you want to witness the 9 underworlds battle technique? Now I will fulfill your wish. As soon as he finished speaking, Xianzhuyo opened his palms and an unparalleled wave of demonic qi rippled out. In an instant, a king reappeared, a peerless battle technique, the flying swan spell, appeared magnificently. It was rumored to be comparable to the Golden Lion race's secret incomparable martial arts. It was the most powerful attack. It had once stunned an entire era, leaving people with a fresh impression. Jiuyo battle technique, flying swan's head appeared. Xianzhuyo took a step forward and entered the void. His fist turned into a hand blade. The peerless sharpness cut open the 9 heavens. Seeing the flying swan tear through the void, 6 Desire King's eyes darkened. He crossed his arms in front of his chest to block the strongest attack. The saber light tore through the air, dazzling the world. In an instant, it slashed onto 6 Desire King's arms. Amidst the intense vibrations, the armor on his arms cracked and shattered. 6 Desire King groaned, and blood spurted out. The saber qi penetrated his body, bringing with it a dazzling vermilion color. He retreated several steps, heavily injured. You wanted to witness the 9 underworlds battle technique, but you couldn't even block a single flying swan spell. Where did you get the courage to say those words? As he spoke, Xianzhuyo's figure appeared in the sky. He threw out a punch that was earth-shattering. 6 Desire King was forced back again and again. His injuries accumulated, making it difficult for him to recover. The blood that spilled out dyed his body red. 6 Desire King's expression darkened. He hadn't expected the 9 underworlds king to be so strong after not cultivating for so many years. 6 Desire King didn't want to be defeated like this. He furiously circulated his true essence, and 6 different ferocious beast heads appeared around him. They looked illusory yet real, shocking everyone. The 6 ferocious beasts represented the 6 desires of the world. The moment they appeared, the surrounding heaven and earth shook. The laws changed and a world of its own formed. The power of the small world appeared, and the aura of the 6 desires filled the air. A shocking power descended from the sky, suppressing the world. Below, Jean Linger and the others looked at the battle in the void with a solemn expression. Everyone knew how powerful the Heavenly Demon Clan was. Apart from their incredible physical strength, their mastery of the power of the small world was not something that other clans could compare to. Perhaps, aside from the true dragons and phoenixes of the ancient era, no other race in the world could defeat the celestial demons in a battle of the same level. In the void, Xianzhuyo looked at 6 Desire King, who had opened his small world. His expression didn't change at all. He stepped forward and instantly arrived before 6 Desire King. It was a simple move, but it was so fast that it was difficult to see it clearly. Xianzhuyo clenched his right hand, and a peach tree branch flew up from the peach tree below and flew toward the Absolute King. When the peach tree branch entered Xianzhuyo's hand, it instantly became peerlessly sharp. Xianzhuyo held the peach tree branch in his hand and slashed out with his sword. The void in front of the peach tree branch continuously collapsed, unable to withstand the sharp qi. The stunning flying swan art turned everything into 100 weapons, revealing a dazzling sharpness. The sword pierced through the void, and the 6 ferocious beasts' phantoms shattered one after another. 6 Desire King's expression changed, and his figure flashed as he retreated another 100 steps. You can't retreat. Xianzhuyo sneered, and the peach tree branch in his hand changed again. Demonic qi surged, and it instantly turned into a long spear. When the spear was thrown, demonic qi split the sky. The spear tore through the 9 heavens, creating a shocking black rainbow in the sky. The shocking might of the flying swan shook the stars with a single spear strike. Before 6 Desire King could react, the black spear arrived in front of him. 6 Desire King's pupils shrank. He flipped his palm and used his demonic qi to block the flying swan art. The vibrating demonic qi continued to dissipate. An instant later, the black spear broke through the obstruction and pierced into the king's body. Arg! A painful groan sounded. The demonic qi on the black spear in front of Six Desire King's chest dissipated, and the spear returned to its original form. The peach tree branch was dyed red with blood, and blood dripped down. Six Desire King looked at the peach tree branch in front of his chest, his eyes filled with disbelief. Do you still want to fight? Xianjuyo looked at the heavily injured king and asked indifferently. Killing intent surged in Six Desire King's eyes. Just as he was about to attack again, the clouds in the skies suddenly changed. The surging demonic qi was so shocking that it surpassed anyone's understanding. Its might shook the 9 heavens and 10 lands. The 7 luminaries demon emperor. Inside the heavenly demon pool, Hong Yuan and Jin Lin, Er's expressions changed when they felt the pressure in the sky. The emperor of the heavenly demon clan had actually come personally. Old Jiao, you're finally willing to stand up again. A dignified voice rang out from the rolling demonic clouds in the sky. It was so heavy that it made it difficult for people to breathe. 7th Imperial Brother, did you come here personally just to greet me? Xianjuyo stood in the sky, looking at the rolling demonic clouds in the sky with a calm expression. Of course not. The demonic clouds rolled in the sky, and the 7 luminaries demon emperor's voice rang out. I'm here because of the changes in the heavenly demon pool. The person you want to protect is most likely from the human race. Don't tell me you can't tell? So what? Xianjuyo said indifferently. He also has the aura of the heavenly demon clan. As long as he has the bloodline of our clan, he will be considered a member of the heavenly demon clan. The human race is the greatest enemy of the heavenly demon clan. Even if he has the bloodline of our clan, it won't change this fact, the 7 luminaries demon emperor said in a deep voice from the demonic clouds. There are many humans in the primordial demon realm. Are you going to kill all of them, 7th Imperial Brother? The heavenly demon bloodline in this kid's body is very pure, surpassing most of the royal clan. Are you going to kill such a precious bloodline? Xianjuyo said coldly. Those who are not of our clan will have different intentions. Old Jiao, I'm happy that you can pull yourself together. However, I must take this young man away today. The 7 luminaries demon emperor's voice rang out from the demonic clouds again. What if 9th Imperial Brother doesn't agree? Xianjuyo said coldly. He stood between heaven and earth like an insurmountable mountain. Then I'll have to personally experience 9th Imperial Brother's peerless battle techniques. As he spoke, thunder rumbled from the 9 heavens. An emperor descended. He was wearing a dark red battle armor and a bloody aura permeated the air. A true supreme expert had returned to the mortal world after countless years. In the void, Xianjuyo looked at the 7 luminaries demon emperor descending from the sky. For the first time, a serious look appeared in his eyes. A battle between a king and an emperor of different realms. Before the battle even began, endless demonic aura had already swept across heaven and earth. Below, in the moon pond, Ningchen looked at the 2 people facing each other in the sky. A serious look flashed across his face. The emperor of the heavenly demon clan had also come. He was certain that the devil emperor had not come for him. After all, a ruler would not personally make a trip for a junior who had not even entered the red dust realm. The only explanation was that the emperor of the heavenly demon clan had come for his 9th Imperial Brother, the peerless king of the heavenly demon royal clan. He did not know much about the history of the heavenly demon clan. However, the 3 people in the sky were undoubtedly the top experts of the heavenly demon clan. In the sky, the 7 luminaries demon emperor raised his hand. The peerless power of an emperor was fully displayed. Above the 9 heavens, 7 huge black demonic suns appeared. Under the radiance, the laws of heaven and earth changed. The emperor's law had appeared for the first time in the mortal world. It was beyond the ability of a domain. It was as if the entire great world had turned into an emperor's domain. Its power was shocking. Below the demonic suns, Xianjuyo looked at the rapidly changing laws of heaven and earth and narrowed his eyes. Knowing that the emperor's law was extraordinary, Xianjuyo took a step forward. The demonic aura was released. In an instant, demonic aura soared into the sky. The king waved his right hand. His black hair danced wildly. In the earth-shattering tremor, streams of light shot out from the heavenly demon lake. The black brilliance pierced one's heart. In the next moment, black brilliance flew around Xianjiuyo and attached itself to his body. Ninth Imperial Brother, please enlighten me. As soon as he finished speaking, Xianjiuyo used a peerless battle technique on both sides. Flying Swan was the attack, and Xianjie was the defense. It was born out of the shocking battle techniques of the two royal clans. Combined with the invincible physical strength of the Heavenly Demon clan, it was so powerful that it shocked the world. The figure that flashed past appeared again. It was already in front of the Emperor. With a swift punch, it blasted open the void and shattered the galaxy. The 7 luminaries Demon Emperor raised his hand. The demonic sun swirled as he faced the attack. Chapter 1038. In the sky above the heavenly demon pool, the 7 brilliance Demon Emperor descended. His unparalleled demonic might shook the 9 heavens. The demonic sun soared into the sky, and 7 black demonic suns circled in the sky. Demonic light sprinkled down, and the laws of heaven and earth changed rapidly. The imperial laws suppressed the 9 heavens and forcefully changed the laws of the great world. It shocked everyone. In the void, Xianjiuyo raised his hand and gathered his energy. Streaks of black light shot out from the heavenly demon pool and attached themselves to the king's body. The mysterious 9 transformations reappeared after countless years. Xianjiuyo's figure moved instantly, and the flying swan art tore through the sky, destroying the world. Seeing this, the 7 brilliance Demon Emperor summoned a demonic sun to block in front of him. In an instant, the peerless light condensed by the flying swan art broke through the demonic sun. Amidst the deafening collision, the 2 demonic techniques fell into a stalemate. They were so close that their eyes met. The 7 brilliance Demon Emperor looked at Old Jiao with a cold expression. Back then, Old Jiao was the most likely person in the entire Heavenly Demon clan to enter the Monarch realm. Everyone had high hopes for Old Jiao, and he was no exception. Who would have thought that Old Jiao would choose to give up on himself for a human woman, forever stopping at the king realm? From the pride of the imperial family to the humiliation of the imperial family, it was all because of a lowly human woman. Hey Jiao, it's time for you to wake up. The 7 brilliance Demon Emperor raised his hand, and the second demonic sun fell from the sky. A terrifying power erupted and engulfed Ol Jiao. Seeing this, Xianjiuyo raised his left palm, and black light flowed around him. The mysterious 9 transformations soared into the sky, and 9 rapidly rotating streams of light turned into a huge heavenly shield that blocked the world. A moment later, the demonic sun collided with the mysterious 9 transformations. A shocking sound of collision rang out, and the mysterious 9 transformations trembled continuously, unable to withstand the imperial might. The aftershock caused blood to drip from the corner of Xianjiuyo's mouth, and he took half a step back. Back then, you chose to give up on yourself for a human woman. Now you choose to fight me for a human. Jiao, you've disappointed me. As he spoke, demonic chi around the 7 brilliance Demon Emperor surged. The 3rd demonic sun fell from the sky, and its terrifying demonic might collapsed the void for 10,000 miles as it collided with the mysterious 9 transformations. With a loud rumble, the mysterious deciphering 9 transformations dissipated. A horrifying shockwave spread out, and Xianjiuyo's figure flew hundreds of meters away. He was severely injured and vomited blood. The broken crown fell from the sky. Xianjiuyo's long black hair danced in the wind. There were specks of blood on it. It was a glaring sight. In the end, the Jiuyo battle method has not reached the imperial way. Old 9, you couldn't protect that human woman back then. Today, you can't protect this young man either. The 7 brilliance Demon Emperor's eyes flickered with murderous intent. He stared at the young man in plain clothes in the heavenly demon pool below and raised his right hand. A destructive aura descended and devoured the figure in the moon pool. Back then, I couldn't protect her because I was too weak. But today, you won't be able to take her away. His voice hadn't even finished resounding through the air when the devil Qi in the heavens and the earth went into a frenzy. The madness in Xianzhuyo's eyes intensified as his cultivation rose madly, and he broke through numerous restrictions to infinitely approach the monarch realm. The Xianjie turned into a black spear in his hand. The peerless divine weapon was so sharp that even the void couldn't bear it. The area around the tip of the spear cracked. Xianzhuyo took a step forward and entered the battlefield again. The spear in his hand shot out like a dragon piercing through the clouds. The Seven Brilliance Demon Emperor's expression stiffened. He raised his hand and channeled his energy. 2 demonic suns fell from the sky at the same time. The destructive aura destroyed everything within 10,000 miles and blocked everyone's vision. The space dimmed in an instant. The area within 10,000 miles of Jinling City was plunged into darkness. The demonic suns shrouded the sky, and the demonic might was boundless. The Seven Brilliance Demon Emperor stood in the sky and swung the demonic suns with both hands. His cultivation that could suppress eternity was so terrifying that it made everyone tremble. The 3,000 demonic suns collided with a rumble. A terrifying shockwave spread out, and the power of the demonic suns dissipated rapidly. The demonic suns also showed signs of instability, and the demonic qi was faintly discernible. Xianzhuyo soared into the sky amidst the violent shockwaves. Even though he was heavily injured, his attacks didn't weaken at all. The Seven Brilliance Demon Emperor stepped forward and dodged the attacks one after another. With a flip of his palm, the demonic suns couldn't even get close to him. The King Realm and the Sovereign Realm were 2 completely different realms. The gap between them was unimaginably huge. The Seven Brilliance Demon Emperor commanded the power of the major realm to suppress the Fei Hongjue's attacks. The Fei Hongjue couldn't break through the barrier of the power of heaven and earth. The Seven Brilliance Demon Emperor, who was in an invincible position, switched from defense to offense. He raised his left hand, and the last 2 demonic suns descended from the sky. The demonic might shook the world and destroyed everything. It was a terrifying scene. The heavenly laws within 10,000 miles had already dissipated before the demonic suns arrived. The earth-shattering demonic might fell from the sky with boundless destructive power. In the sky, Xianzhuyo looked at the demonic suns descending from the sky. He sighed in his heart and stopped hesitating. Ha! Xianzhuyo shouted loudly. The demonic qi around him quickly withdrew, and the demonic qi in his body burned rapidly. He used half of his blood qi as the price to break through the heavenly barrier again. The sky shook violently, and 10,000 miles around Xianzhuyo collapsed. Blood-red light soared into the sky from Xianzhuyo's body. The dazzling blood-red light pillar pierced through the sky, attracting everyone's attention. Inside the blood-red light pillar, Xianzhuyo's cultivation base rapidly rose. He surpassed the King Realm and returned to the half-step Emperor Realm. After countless years, the peerless genius of the imperial family of the past reappeared. Half of his blood qi burned and filled his body, removing all the decay left behind by time. Under the cracked skin, bronze skin appeared. The old skin on Xianzhuyo's face kept falling off like a silkworm. The aura around the King Realm also became more and more terrifying, shocking everyone. The King Realm revealed his true appearance. The mysterious Solution 9 transformations sensed it, and his voice trembled. "I'm sorry that you've been covered in dust for so many years," Xianzhuyo said softly. After the old skin on his face fell off, his face immediately became much younger. He looked like a human in his 30s, the prime of his life. His blood qi was exuberant like a divine furnace, blazing and dazzling. Xianzhuyo stepped into the sky, and demonic qi surged within 10,000 miles. He held the battle spear in his hand and turned into a shocking sharp light that broke through the demonic suns. It was a peerless battle technique that was said to be comparable to the strongest attack of the 100 races. The demonic suns couldn't stop its terrifying power, and it arrived in front of the Emperor in an instant. The spear light pierced through the sky with a sharp edge. A strange light flashed in the Seven Brilliance Demon Emperor's eyes. He raised his right hand, and demonic qi surged, blocking the mysterious Solution 9 transformations. With a rumble, the mysterious solution shook the demonic qi. At the moment of collision, the mysterious solution changed again. The black spear disintegrated and turned into 9 streams of light that pierced toward the Emperor's 9 vital acupoints. Seeing this, the 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor's face turned serious. He took a step forward and retreated quickly. When the Emperor moved, the mysterious solution followed him like a shadow. The streams of light became sharper. After the mysterious solution, Xian Jiuyo's figure flashed past. His speed was shocking. The King Realm and the Emperor Realm clashed again after 10,000 feet. The mysterious solution 9 transformations transformed again. The black spear was sharp and pierced toward the Emperor's heart. The 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor raised his hand and pointed at the void. The airflow between heaven and earth spun and wrapped around the mysterious solution 9 transformations. The mysterious solution was restrained, but Xian Jiuyo's momentum didn't change at all. He gathered qi in his left hand and struck at the Emperor's heart. With a loud rumble, the Emperor took half a step back as the heavy punch landed on his body. A dazzling red color appeared at the corner of his mouth. Very well. Although he was injured, the 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor didn't show any anger on his face. Instead, his battle intent burst out. He took a step forward, and his towering demonic body appeared. The Emperor had revealed his true form. On the opposite side, Xian Jiuyo also unleashed his full power. His 8,000 feet tall demonic body appeared majestically. In the next moment, the 2 heavenly demon imperial family supreme experts passed by each other and threw heavy punches. They gave up on laws and techniques, and used the most primitive way of fighting. Every punch landed on each other's body. It was a shocking battle. Both of them had raised their combat strength to the limit. Their punches and kicks kept colliding. The terrifying demonic might shattered the void. As the battle reached its climax, the 2 supreme experts' skins started to crack. The peerless King Realm expert and the Emperor Realm supreme expert were fighting with their true forms. Neither of them held back. Boom! The 2 fists collided, and both of them took a few steps back. Demonic aura surged from their bodies, and it was difficult to see the sun within 10,000 miles. 7 Brilliance, 9 Underworld, stop. At this moment, the clouds in the 9 heavens moved, and an extremely terrifying aura appeared. Sensing the aura, both of them froze. The demonic aura around them retracted, and they returned to their human forms. Elder brother! The 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor bowed and said, 7 Brilliance, as the elder brother, how can you bully the younger generation? A majestic voice reprimanded softly in the sky. The 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor bowed and didn't refute. 9 Underworld, it's rude of you to offend your superior. Apologize to your 2 elder brothers. Demonic aura surged in the 9 heavens as the first Kunyi Demon Emperor of the Heavenly Demon Imperial family reprimanded. Xian Jiuyo fell silent. After a long while, he bowed at the 6 Desires King and the 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor to apologize. Xian Qing, you didn't do your job well. Go back and accept your punishment when the 100-day period is up, the first Kunyi Demon Emperor said again. Yes, father. Xian Qing bowed respectfully and accepted the order. Young man, where did you get your heavenly demon bloodline? The first Kunyi Demon Emperor asked calmly. I devoured a heavenly demon called Xian Luo. In the moon pond, Ningchen looked at the rolling demonic clouds in the sky and said honestly, humans and demons are different. A mortal body can't withstand the power of a heavenly demon unless you give up your human form and willingly fall into the path of demons. Young man, although you're from the human race, since you've fallen into the path of demons, the heavenly demon tribe can still tolerate you. However, you must remember who saved your life today. Humans are heartless, and most of them are ungrateful. I hope you're not such a person. As soon as he finished speaking, the demonic clouds in the 9 heavens faded away. The terrifying demonic aura lingering between the heavens and earth also disappeared. In the sky, the 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor frowned slightly when he saw the aura disappearing into the distance. However, he didn't disobey his elder brother's order. He glanced at the figure in front of him and said in a deep voice, Old Jiu, you're on your own now. Demonic qi gushed out of the 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor's body and engulfed him. A moment later, he disappeared. Outside the battle, the Six Desires King also left. He didn't say anything from the beginning to the end. After the two left, Xianjuyo descended from the sky and walked to the peach blossom tree. He glanced at the 9 people in the heavenly demon lake and said calmly, "Let's continue." In the heavenly demon lake, the 9 people bowed together to show their respect to the most talented king of the heavenly demon tribe. "Thank you, senior." In the moon pond, Ningchen looked at the man under the peach blossom tree and said. Xianjuyo nodded and said in an unquestionable tone, "From today onward, you'll join the 9 underworlds bloodline and inherit my mantle." Chapter 1039. Demonic Qi surged in the heavenly demon pool. After a rare battle, the 2 demon emperors left. Xianjuyo returned to the peach blossom tree and waited for the 100-day period to end. In the sun-moon pool, the 9 young geniuses meditated again, using the power of the heavenly demon pool to refine their bodies. Since his identity was exposed, Ningchen did not hide anymore. His 2 bodies merged together, and the demonic Qi surged, refining his body. The demonic Qi spread, and the water in the moon pool stirred. Spiritual Qi surged and entered the bodies of the demons. Under the peach blossom tree, Xianjuyo looked at the young figure in the moon pool. His eyes flashed. How many years had it been? Was she the one who sent this child to him? The 3 divine seals were given by the heavens, and it was difficult for humans to reach them. The young man in front of him could master the seal of the underworld to such an extent. It was shocking. Possessing the heavenly demon bloodline and mastering the seal of the underworld could not be explained by coincidence. Perhaps it was the will of the heavens. Not far away, in front of the heavenly demon pool, Xianqing's eyes kept sweeping across the moon pool and the 2 people under the peach blossom tree. He knew what the 9th royal uncle's words meant. The royal bloodline was rare, and the selection of the successor was very strict. The 9th royal uncle's action was to give the young man a proper identity. However, it was not that simple. The young man still had a long way to go to become a member of the royal family. Xianqing. Under the peach blossom tree, Xianjuyo looked at the figure in white not far away. Xianqing was stunned when he heard this. He turned around and bowed respectfully. 9th imperial uncle. You are the only one who has been willing to visit me all these years. I know why your father asked you to come. I can teach you one of the Juyo battle techniques. What do you want to learn? Xianjuyo said calmly. Xianqing was delighted. He thought for a while and said respectfully, 9th royal uncle, I want to learn the flying swan formula. Xianjuyo nodded and looked at the moon pool. When he comes out of the heavenly demon pool, I will teach you the flying swan formula. How much you can learn depends on your luck. Thank you, 9th royal uncle. Xianqing bowed respectfully again and thanked him. What do you think of him? Xianjuyo sighed. A strange light flashed in Xianqing's eyes. He said, extraordinary wisdom and amazing strength. He's not a member of the royal family. He won't be a threat to you. Xianjuyo said indifferently. Xianqing's expression turned serious. After a long time, he bowed and said, Thank you for your advice, 9th imperial uncle. Xianjuyo nodded and said nothing more. He stood quietly under the peach blossom tree, waiting for the 100-day period to arrive. In front of the celestial demon pool, Xianqing looked at the plain-clothed young man in the moon pool. His heart was in turmoil. 9th uncle's words were, without a doubt, paving the way for this man. The celestial demon royal family's internal forces were complicated. It was not easy to survive. Although the young man before him had the 9th imperial uncle as his backer, the 9th imperial uncle had not been involved in worldly affairs for many years. There were many things that were inconvenient for him to appear. There were 12 princes in the celestial demon royal family, including him. However, only 3 of them were crowned as crown princes. For thousands of years, the competition between the princes was extremely intense. The 3 crown princes even regarded each other as their mortal enemies. They were constantly thinking about getting rid of the other 2. The 9th imperial uncle's words were a reminder to him. The young man's status and strength would take a qualitative leap. However, he wasn't a direct descendant of the royal family after all. So, he wouldn't be a direct threat to him. If he could draw the young man to his side, it would be a great help to him. Of course, there were gains and losses in everything. If he wanted to obtain the young man's help in the future, he had to help the young man gain a foothold in the celestial demon royal family. In front of the heavenly demon pool, thoughts flashed through Xianqing's mind. He was constantly weighing the gains and losses. If it was just the young man before him, it was undoubtedly not worth his effort. However, the young man had the 9th imperial uncle behind him. So, he had to seriously consider it. Everyone present had witnessed the battle just now. The 9th imperial uncle's strength had far surpassed the king realm. He was comparable to a true emperor realm expert. Even his father and the other 2 imperial uncles couldn't underestimate such combat strength. In the heavenly demon pool, the 9 of them cultivated wholeheartedly. Time flew by quickly. Unknowingly, there were almost 100 days left. Outside Jinling City, the experts of the Scaled Clan, Golden Lion Clan, and other imperial and royal clans had arrived to welcome their descendants back. Time's up. In front of the heavenly demon pool, 100 days had passed. Xianqing looked at the setting sun and raised his right hand. Instantly, a surge of demonic qi surged out and brought the 9 of them out of the heavenly demon pool. The 9 of them landed on the ground and opened their eyes one after another. They regained their consciousness and looked at the person before them. Your clansmen are waiting in Jinling City. Everyone, please return. Xianqing glanced at the crowd and said calmly. Jin Lin, Hong Yuan, and the others cupped their fists and bowed. They didn't say anything and left one after another. Cultivating in the heavenly demon pool for 100 days had allowed them to gain a lot. They had to return as soon as possible to consolidate their gains. Before leaving, the fox girl Xiao Xiao glanced at the plain-clothed young man not far away. A strange light flashed in her foxy eyes. This person really surprised her time and time again. With the support of the 9th Underworld King, his position in the Heavenly Demon Clan would definitely be extraordinary in the future. Unlike the Heavenly Demon Royal Clan and other demon clans, the Heavenly Demon Imperial Clan rarely intermarried with outsiders in order to maintain the purity of their bloodline. This also made it difficult for the 100 clans to infiltrate the Heavenly Demon Imperial Clan. However, now there was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Although the person in front of her wasn't a direct descendant of the Imperial Clan, with the support of the 9th Underworld King, his position in the Heavenly Demon Imperial Clan would definitely not be low. Such a special person would definitely be someone that the 100 clans would try to win over in the future. It seemed that the Fox clan had to act as soon as possible. While thinking, Xiao Xiao glanced at Ningchen not far away again. Not long after, she collected her thoughts and walked away. Jin Lin and the others left. Under the peach blossom tree, Xian Jiuyo looked at the 2 people in front of him and said calmly, "Let's go too." In front of the heavenly demon pool, Xianqing nodded. He looked at the young man beside him and said with a friendly smile, "Brother Ning, let's go." Ningchen nodded and followed after him. The moment the 3 of them left the heavenly demon pool, numerous gazes from all over the primal demon realm looked over with serious expressions. Was the 9th Underworld King finally willing to return? The 100 clans had experienced how stunning the 9th Underworld King had been. He was an invincible king. Practically all the emperors of the imperial clans had said that the 9th Underworld King would definitely enter the monarch realm one day and become an emperor realm expert that would shock the world. However, no one had expected that the 9th Underworld King would fall completely because of a human woman and become the laughingstock of the 100 clans. In the depths of the primal demon realm, in the 3 imperial city, numerous enormous palaces resided. Amongst them, 3 towering palaces stood at the center of the city. They were lofty and majestic, surrounded by tens of thousands of palaces. On this day, outside the 3 emperor city, the sound of footsteps resounded as a gust of wind blew through the air. 3 figures walked over with large strides. The person in the lead was a peerless king who wasn't inferior to an emperor Dao Exalt. He wore dark purple clothes and his hair was tied up lightly. He appeared before the eyes of everyone, and his peerless bearing caused others to be unable to move their eyes away from him. 2 young figures followed behind the 9th Underworld King. One was dressed in white, and the other in plain clothes. Their gazes were as calm as water, but there was a different coldness in them. In front of the three imperial city, the imperial guards of the heavenly demon clan all looked serious when they saw the three people walking over. The leader of the imperial guards, the heavily armored imperial guard commander, was shocked when he saw the man in front of Xianqing. He immediately went forward and bowed. The imperial guard commander knelt down. Behind him, the other imperial guards bowed as well. They looked at the man in front of the third crown prince with strange expressions. Who was this person? Why was the third crown prince willing to fall behind him? Greetings, ninth underworld king. The imperial guard commander knelt on the ground in front of the three imperial city, his voice trembling. The ninth underworld king stopped when he heard this, and then he looked at the imperial guard commander and said, "You know me?" He hadn't appeared before the world for a very long time. Logically speaking, there weren't many people in the world who knew him. The lifespan of the heavenly demon clan was indeed long, but it wasn't endless. He'd left this world for too long, so long that even those at the mortal realm or even the king realm would find it difficult to support him. This subordinate was fortunate enough to see the ninth underworld king once when I was young. This subordinate still can't forget the ninth underworld king's demeanor. The imperial guard commander was slightly excited. The ninth underworld king looked at the imperial guard commander before him, and then he said in a light voice, "Peak King Realm. Your current cultivation isn't inferior to this king's anymore. You may rise." "Thank you, ninth underworld king." The imperial guard commander stood up and stood at the side with an extremely respectful expression. Ning Chen, who stood behind the ninth underworld king, sized up the imperial guard commander before him, and a serious expression flashed in his eyes. The imperial guard of the three imperial city actually had a peak king realm expert, and it was truly inconceivable. He's called Xianimo. Even though his background isn't high, he relied on his own hard work to cultivate to the peak king realm. Presently, he possesses a very high status even in the heavenly demon imperial clan. Brother Ning, if you want to gain a firm foothold in the imperial clan in the future, then it's best to form a good relationship with him. Xianqing reminded kindly from the side. Ning Chen nodded lightly when he heard Xianqing's voice transmission, and he replied, "Thank you for the reminder, third prince. Let's go into the city." The ninth underworld king looked at the imperial city before him and spoke calmly, and then he strode forward. Ning Chen and Xianqing responded and strode forward to follow him. The three of them entered the city. Xianmo gazed at their figures from before the city, and a worried expression flashed through his eyes. The ninth underworld king would probably encounter quite a bit of resistance when he returned this time, especially when he'd brought that young man with him. The incident at the heavenly demon pool had already spread throughout the three imperial city, and all the powers knew that the ninth underworld king had returned. Moreover, he'd even brought an inheritor with him. In the past tens of thousands of years, the various powers of the imperial clan had already arrived at a tacit balance. The appearance of the ninth underworld king and this young man would undoubtedly break this balance, and this was something that most people weren't willing to see happen. No one would care about your past glory before benefits, even if the ninth underworld king was once the pride of the entire heavenly demon clan. Chapter 1040. The ninth underworld king had returned to the three imperial city. The former number one genius of the imperial family had appeared in front of the world again. In the imperial city, all the forces looked at the three people who had entered the city. They were considering their next step. No one knew why the ninth underworld king had brought his successor back. However, no matter what the ninth underworld king did, the reshuffling of the forces in the imperial city was inevitable. In the previous battle, almost all the experts above the Red Dust Realm had clearly sensed that the ninth underworld king was now no weaker than an Emperor Realm expert. Even the three emperors had to be careful when dealing with such terrifying combat power. "Ninth uncle, I have to go back to report." After the three of them entered the city, Xianqing looked at the man in front of him and said respectfully, "Okay." The ninth underworld king nodded and said calmly, "Go. I'll wait for you in the mansion." "Thank you, ninth uncle." Xianqing bowed and didn't waste any more time. He quickly walked toward the 3 imperial palaces in the distance. Follow me back to the mansion. After Xianqing left, the 9th Underworld King looked at the young man behind him and said lightly. Ningchen nodded and replied softly. The two of them headed east toward the 9th Underworld King's mansion. The 9th Underworld King's mansion used to be the most luxurious mansion in the imperial city. Now, it was almost deserted. There wasn't even a guard in front of the mansion. The 9th Underworld King walked in front of the 9th Underworld King's mansion with Ning Chen. He opened the door and walked in. Inside the mansion, weeds were overgrown. The mansion that had been in disrepair for a long time had cracks everywhere. It looked unusually desolate. Is it strange? The 9th Underworld King looked at the person behind him and asked. Ning Chen looked at the mansion that hadn't collapsed yet. He smiled and said, "It's much better than I imagined. At least we can still live in it after cleaning it up. Tea cools down when people leave. That's the human heart. However, this place will return to its former prosperity," the 9th Underworld King said lightly. "I don't care whether it's lively or not. It's quieter when no one comes." Ning Chen smiled and said, "Let me clean it up. Senior, you can find a place to rest first." "Call me master," the 9th Underworld King said calmly. "I can't." Ning Chen smiled. "If you want to inherit this king's clothes and silk, you must call me master," the 9th Underworld King said indifferently. "Actually, I don't want to accept Senior's clothes and silk," Ning Chen said softly without hiding anything. "Oh." When the 9th Underworld King heard this, a strange look flashed across his eyes. He said, "Do you know why Xianqing has been sending wine to me all these years? When Senior is in dire straits, the 3rd Crown Prince still cares so much about kinship. How touching." Ning Chen smiled. "Speak the truth." The 9th Underworld King coldly snorted. Ning Chen revealed a helpless expression. As he began to tidy up the mansion, he said, "If you're unaccountably solicitous, you must have your own motives. Senior's 9 nether battle method is renowned throughout the world, so it's not hard to guess what the 3rd Prince's goal is. Even a crown prince like Xianqing is spying on my 9 Underworlds battle technique. Aren't you tempted at all?" 9 Underworlds King asked. "Of course." Ning Chen smiled and replied casually, "However, I'm not a member of the Sky Devil Imperial family after all. I'm even from the human clan, which the Sky Devil Imperial family hates the most. If I accept the 9 Serenities battle law, many people will be unhappy. I've never been good at patience. I'm afraid I won't be able to hold myself back and do some outrageous things, which will bring big trouble to you. If I'm afraid of trouble, I won't protect you." The 9th Underworld King looked at the 3 royal palaces in the distance and sneered, "There's no need to think about messy things. You don't have to worry about it. I'll just ask you one question. Are you going to learn it or not?" After hearing the former's answer, Ning Chen didn't argue anymore and replied, "Yes." "Call me master," the 9th Underworld King said lightly. Ning Chen chuckled and bowed. "Good." The 9th Underworld King nodded and said, "Continue tidying up. When Xianqing arrives, I'll teach you the flying swan technique first." After speaking, the 9th Underworld King didn't waste any more time and walked towards the damaged royal palace. Looking at the 9th Underworld King's back, Ning Chen smiled faintly. It seemed that the Heavenly Devil clan wasn't all detestable people. Rumor had it that the 9th Underworld King was unable to recover because of the death of a human girl. Although he didn't know what exactly happened, there was no doubt that the 9th Underworld King was a very sentimental person. Everyone knew that the Devil clan was heartless. However, there were always exceptions, and the 9th Underworld King was one of them. In the royal palace, Ning Chen carefully cleaned up the courtyard that had been abandoned for a long time. He cleaned up from the middle of the day until the sun set in the west. The royal palace that was overgrown with weeds finally had a rough appearance. In the royal palace, the 9th Underworld King stood quietly for half a day. He only came back to his senses when the sun set. Night fell. In the courtyard, Ning Chen, who had been busy for half a day, sat down on a huge rock and looked at the bright moon in the sky quietly with a smile on his face. Unknowingly, he had been in the primordial devil realm for many years. He wondered how his friends were doing. And Sister Qing Ning, I haven't seen her for many years. Is she still in the central region? What about a man, that girl? Where did she go after coming down from the Shenji Peak? Mu Qingxue, are her memories still disappearing? The Taishang indifference was indeed a technique that gave people a headache. What about Senior Sister Dai? Can the female supreme help her control the aftereffects of the 9 underworld devouring demon scripture? As he was thinking, the bright moon moved westward in the sky. The night was getting darker. A slightly cold night wind blew past, bringing a few fallen leaves with it, dancing casually in the air. Inside and outside the royal palace, the two of them were silent. Neither of them said a word as they quietly thought about things. In the east, dawn arrived. The cold night gradually passed. In front of the 9th Underworld Royal Palace, a figure in white walked over and knocked on the door gently. In the royal palace, the 9th Underworld King turned around and said, "Go and welcome the guest." On the huge rock outside the palace, Ningchen heard this and nodded lightly. He jumped down from the rock and walked towards the royal palace. Creak. The royal palace door opened. The sound of rubbing against the door, which had been in disrepair for a long time, was ear-piercing. Outside the royal palace, the 3rd Crown Prince in white stood quietly. When he saw the person who came, a kind smile appeared on his face. "Brother Ning," Xian Qing said with a smile. "3rd Crown Prince, please." Ningchen returned the greeting, after which, he opened up a path and invited them in. Xian Qing stepped into the royal palace. When he saw the dilapidated royal palace, he couldn't help but frown. The 9th Underworld Royal Palace had become like this. 9th Royal Uncle. Xian Qing came back to his senses. Looking at the figure in the royal palace, he bowed respectfully and said, "Royal Uncle and Brother Ning, why don't you move to my palace first? After I send someone to clean up this place, you can come back." "No need for that trouble." In the royal palace, the 9th Underworld King replied indifferently and said, "Time is precious. Get ready to start." Xian Qing heard this and nodded lightly. He didn't say anything else. The 9th Underworld King stepped out of the palace and looked at the two people in the courtyard. He said, "Have you fought with the Golden Lion clan before?" Xian Qing shook his head. As the 3rd Crown Prince of the royal family, his every action represented more than just himself. Unless it was a special situation, he would definitely not fight with the Golden Lion clan, which was also a royal family. In the ancient battlefield, I fought with the Golden Lion clan's Prince Hong Yuan twice. Ningchen replied. "How did it feel?" The 9th Underworld King asked. Although it's not as difficult to deal with as the Scaled clan, the Golden Lion clan's attacks are very shocking. Every move has a terrifying explosive power. If you're not careful, your life will be in danger. Ningchen said truthfully. The 9th Underworld King nodded and said, "The era I was in was when the 100 clans were in chaos. Therefore, I fought with the Golden Lion clan many times. The Flying Swan formula was also created at that time." At this point, the 9th Underworld King looked at Xian Qing and continued, "Your father should have told you that the purpose of creating the Flying Swan formula was to match the powerful attacks of the Golden Lion clan. The Golden Lion clan's physique is different from other clans. They can burn their own qi and blood to obtain a powerful explosive power. At the highest level, they can accumulate 10 times the attack. However, this requires a large amount of qi and blood. The price is heavy, so they won't use it easily. The Flying Swan mantra has the same effect as the Golden Lion clan's secret technique. The heavenly demons have powerful blood qi that is not inferior to the Golden Lion clan's. So I created the Flying Swan mantra based on my personal experience of fighting the Golden Lion clan over the years. With the powerful physical bodies of the heavenly demons, we can also increase our attack by about 10 times. Of course, 10 times the attack comes with 10 times the price. Unless absolutely necessary, we must not use it. Everyone's body has a limit to what it can bear, and the consumption of an attack that is 10 times stronger than the physical bodies of the heavenly demons can bear it. The 9th Underworld King's words entered the two's ears and gave them a warning. The stronger the power, the more severe the restrictions. They should not use it easily. I'll demonstrate it once. Watch carefully. As he spoke, The ninth underworld king strode to the center of the estate. Demonic chi surged out from his body as he took a step forward. In the next moment, a shocking scene occurred. Demonic flames burned around the ninth underworld king like the dark flames of hell, enveloping his entire body. The pressure on the ninth underworld king's body continued to rise, and it became more and more shocking. The space in the entire estate started to distort violently. 30 meters away, Ning Chen and Xian Qing felt the terrifying pressure from the king before them. They took half a step back and forcefully stabilized themselves. Shock flashed through their eyes when they looked at each other. Even though it was not the first time they had seen the ninth underworld king's strength, it was still difficult for them to feel shocked. In the entire world, only the ninth underworld king could possess such terrifying pressure at the king realm. Just as the ninth underworld king was teaching them the flying swan formula, the space in the 3 imperial palaces in the distance swirled, and 3 extremely terrifying auras appeared. The 3 demon emperors of the heavenly demon clan appeared at the same time. They looked at the ninth underworld king's estate with strange expressions flickering in their eyes. Ninth brother's strength was comparable to an emperor realm expert. It looked like the 3 imperial cities would have to change their names soon. It was unavoidable for that young man to enter the imperial city. After 10,000 years, someone was finally going to challenge the 7 paths of the Devil's Sky. Chapter 1041. In the ninth underworld king's manor, the king's performance shook the heavens and earth. The demonic flames burned around the king's body, and a terrifying pressure shook the entire manor. It was difficult to bear the king's existence. 30 meters away, Ning Chen and Xian Qing looked at the demonic flames around the ninth underworld king with shock. The burning blood chi turned into the strongest power, and the ninth underworld king's aura became more and more terrifying. It surpassed the king realm and approached the emperor realm. Everyone's body is like a divine furnace. As long as you can ignite it, it will provide you with great power. Of course, there's a limit to everything. Once you consume too much blood chi and can't recover in time, your body will have to bear an inestimable price. As he spoke, the ninth underworld king raised his right hand, and the demonic flames around him spread out. Now, I'll teach you the flying swan technique. In the next 10 days, try your best to comprehend it. The demonic flames spread out and covered an area of 30 meters. The ninth underworld king looked at the 2 in front of him with a serious expression. The flying swan technique wasn't something that everyone could cultivate. If they couldn't grasp the basics in 10 days, then it meant that they weren't fated to cultivate it. The 2 nodded. They felt the intense burning sensation after the demonic flames entered their bodies, and their bodies tensed up. The demonic flame moved forward at an extremely fast speed, passing through the meridians in their bodies. This strange method of meridian circulation was almost the opposite of the vast majority of cultivation methods in the world. It was something that had never been seen before. Half an hour later, the aura around the ninth nether king's body gradually converged, and the devil flames in the 2 men's bodies also disappeared without a trace. I've already taught you the method. In the next 10 days, what you need to do is find a way to reignite the demonic flames and grasp the basics of the flying swan technique. After speaking, the ninth underworld king walked away, leaving the 2 of them alone. In front of the manor, Ning Chen and Xian Qing closed their eyes and used their hearts to experience the feeling of the demonic flames passing through their meridians. Demonic yuan circulated in their bodies, and they tried for the first time. The result was obvious. The 2 of them failed without a doubt. The demonic yuan passed through their meridians, but nothing happened. The 2 of them didn't take the first failure to heart. They recalled every detail when the ninth underworld king ignited his blood chi and tried again. Not far away, the ninth underworld king stood quietly and looked at the 2 of them. He didn't give them any more pointers. When he created the flying swan incantation, the difficulties he encountered were far greater than this. Only by putting in effort would one reap the rewards. Things that were too easy to obtain would never be profound. As the sun rose and set, a day slowly passed. In front of the royal palace, Ning Chen and Xian Qing's demonic chi surged violently. However, after a day, Neither of them had managed to ignite the demonic flames. The night fell silently. The bright moon rose from the east. The ninth underworld king stood in front of the two. Suddenly, his eyes narrowed slightly. A wisp of black flame rose around Xianqing's body. It was so weak, but it was unusually clear. Half an hour later, Xianqing opened his eyes and looked at the ninth underworld king. He bowed respectfully and said, "Thank you, ninth royal uncle. To be able to ignite the demonic flame so quickly, not bad at all. Your aptitude is much better than this disciple of mine," the Nine Nether King exclaimed. "Ninth imperial uncle, you flatter me." A smile appeared on Xianqing's face as he said, "I've disturbed you for a day and troubled you, ninth imperial uncle. Your nephew has failed in his task and needs to return to the palace to receive his punishment. I won't stay any longer." The ninth underworld king nodded and said, "Go ahead." Xianqing bowed again and immediately turned to leave. After Xianqing left, there were only two people left in the huge palace. In front of the palace, the demonic aura around Ningchen's body was surging like a tide. Its power was getting stronger and stronger. However, there were still no signs of him igniting the demonic flame. The ninth underworld king stood at the side and waited patiently. He could see that his disciple's aptitude was much worse than Xianqing's. It was not strange that he could not ignite the demonic flame for a day. The first day passed. In front of the palace, everything was the same as before. It was as if nothing had happened. The second day, the third day. The ninth underworld king still stood patiently in front of the palace, waiting for his only disciple to master the flying swan formula. However, the result was disappointing. The fourth day, the fifth day. Time passed day by day. On the ninth day, the ninth underworld king's calm face finally showed a slight change. He looked forward and frowned from time to time. Although he was mentally prepared, if his disciple really could not master the flying swan formula, he would not be able to teach him many more things. The sun was shining in the sky. Just as the ninth underworld king was getting impatient, a blazing red heavenly fire rose around Ningchen. It was like a prairie fire, instantly igniting the demonic aura around him. Seeing this, the ninth underworld king was surprised. The flame just now was the heavenly fire of punishment. In the flame, Ningchen opened his eyes. The black flame on his body was surging, shocking everyone. Opportunistic. The ninth underworld king looked at Ningchen and said lightly, "It doesn't matter what method I used. What matters is the result, isn't it, Master?" Ningchen smiled. "I don't know how you took the heavenly fire for your own use. However, the power of the heavenly fire is too overbearing. You have to be careful," the ninth underworld king reminded. "I understand." Ningchen replied and said, "Using the heavenly fire to ignite the demonic flame is only a temporary measure. I know that my talent is ordinary, so I borrowed external help. In the future, when I can ignite the demonic flame with my own strength, I will naturally not use the heavenly fire." The ninth underworld king nodded and said, "Since you already have a way to ignite the demonic flame, then I can continue to teach you the following things. You don't have much time, so you have to cherish it. Soon, the three sovereigns will summon you to the palace. At that time, you will have to challenge the 7 paths of demonic sky. The dangers within are extraordinary. With your current strength, it will be difficult for you to walk out successfully." Hearing this, Ningchen frowned. 7 paths of demonic sky? What is that? You don't have to think so much now. Just focus on learning the 9th underworld battle technique from me. If you don't have enough strength, it will be useless no matter how much you know. The 9th underworld king said seriously. Ningchen replied softly. Next, I will teach you the Holy Imperial Technique and the 9th Underworld Secret Technique. The Holy Imperial Technique is a technique created based on the absolute defense of the Golden Scale clan. Although it is not as difficult to cultivate as the Flying Swan Technique, it is easy to learn but difficult to master. If you want to reach the level of absolute defense of the Golden Scale clan, you will need to put in 10 times or even 100 times more effort than the Flying Swan Technique. As for the 9th Underworld Secret Technique, it is neither an offensive nor defensive technique, but a technique to control weapons. It needs to be combined with the mysterious Solution 9 changes to maximize the power of the Flying Swan technique and the Holy Imperial technique. The ninth underworld king reminded him seriously. Hearing this, Ning Chen nodded lightly. If hard work could be rewarded, then it would be a joyous thing. Watch carefully, the ninth underworld king said seriously. Then he took 2 steps forward and shouted. The demonic qi in the surroundings surged out. In an instant, the demonic qi took form. Thousands of demonic qi as thin as hair intertwined with each other. Layer after layer, they formed a black armor around the king. In front of him, Ning Chen saw this and his eyes flashed. What an amazing power control! Next is the ninth underworld secret technique. Before he finished speaking, 9 rays of light flew out from the ninth underworld king's body. The mysterious Solution 9 changes reappeared in the world. Chapter 1042. In the ninth underworld king's estate, the mysterious Solution 9 transformations reappeared. 9 black streams of light flew up, their shapes constantly changing. They were either spears, halberds, swords, or armors. The 9 transformations were all different. It was a rare demonic artifact with a peerless edge. The mysterious Solution 9 transformations was forged from the stars of outer space. It's both hard and soft. It's an extremely special weapon. If you want to control it, you must cultivate the 9 underworld secret arts to the extreme. The ninth underworld king waved his hand to disperse the transformations. The demonic threads around him dispersed and merged into Ning Chen's body. I gave you 10 days to cultivate the Flying Swan technique because you can't master it in 10 days. It's useless no matter how long you try. However, the Imperial technique is different from the 9 underworld secret arts. There's no shortcut to cultivating these 2 techniques. You can only rely on a lot of practice. Tomorrow, I will enter the palace and try my best to buy time for you. During this time, you must practice with all your might and master as much as you can. With that, the mysterious solution flew out from the ninth underworld king's hand and flew towards Ning Chen. Thank you, master. Surrounded by thousands of demonic threads, Ning Chen took the profound solution and bowed. However, this time, there was more respect in his heart. He could see that the ninth underworld king was sincerely teaching him as a disciple. The celestial demon clan had 3 demon emperors. One could imagine the pressure the ninth underworld king would face when he entered the palace. I've already taught you the cultivation method and the mysterious Solution 9 transformations. Hurry up and cultivate, the ninth underworld king instructed. Ning Chen nodded. He felt the demonic threads in his body and used his heart to feel the changes. The mysterious solution flew up. 9 streams of light surrounded him. It was a supreme demonic artifact. Demonic might surged like the waves in the sky. The ninth underworld king stood to the side and watched quietly. Although his disciple's talent wasn't enough and hadn't entered the mortal realm, he was able to defeat the princes and princesses of the Scaled Clan and Golden Lion Clan to become the champion of the 100 Clan competition. The Imperial technique and the 9 underworld secret arts didn't require too much talent to cultivate. As long as one worked hard, there would be rewards. It was just right for this disciple of his. He'd seen too many geniuses. This world had no lack of geniuses, and there were many geniuses that were said to possess the bearing of a king or even monarch. However, experts that were truly capable of cultivating to the king realm and monarch realm were extremely rare. On the path of cultivation, one had to face too many tribulations and accidents. Talent and achievements were not equal. Being able to grow was the most important thing. He was very satisfied with this disciple of his, even though his talent was still lacking. In front of the imperial palace, demonic qi surged like a tide. Ning Chen stood in it, multitasking, cultivating the imperial technique and the 9 underworld's secret technique at the same time. The dual body transformation art displayed extraordinary might at this moment. Cultivating both bodies at the same time, the imperial art and the 9 underworld's secret technique complemented each other, multiplying the cultivation speed. Not far away, Xian Jiuyo's eyes flashed when he saw the former's cultivation progress. Strange, How could he grasp it so quickly? It seemed that this disciple of his still had many secrets that he did not know. Time flew by, and a day passed in the blink of an eye. The 9th Serenity King left his residence and headed towards the 3 Emperors' palace alone. Only Ningchen remained in the 9th Serenity King's estate. The demonic qi surged and became more and more shocking. The 3 Emperors' palace was a majestic palace with 9,000 stone steps leading to the heavens. It was a building that represented the highest authority of the Celestial Devil clan, and it had existed for countless years. This time, a king with a peerless demeanor walked up the 9,000 stone steps. He wore dark purple clothes, had a masculine appearance, and was extraordinarily domineering. When the king appeared, all the guards in front of the 3 Emperors' palace became nervous, and they bowed respectfully. "He's here." Within the first Earth Emperor's palace, space swirled and rays of light converged as a dignified voice resounded. "How many years has it been? He should have returned a long time ago." Another ball of light appeared beside the throne. Its aura was powerful and unfathomable. The 9 underworld strength is infinitely close to the monarch realm. This isn't a good thing. A third voice resounded from the side. A demonic sun rose and fell, and its pressure shook the heavens and the earth. After countless years, the 3 emperors had appeared once more. Within the first Earth Emperor's palace, demonic qi was as heavy as a mountain, and the entire space had practically frozen. Not long after, the 9 underworld's king's figure appeared in front of the palace and walked in. Under the demonic qi, the king's footsteps didn't stop at all. The former pride of the Imperials was still the same today. "Royal younger brother, 9 underworlds greets the 3 royal brothers." The 9 underworlds king bowed with a calm expression. "You may rise." The first Earth Demon Emperor's voice resounded from the center of the 3 demon emperors. "Thank you, eldest brother." The 9 underworlds king stood up and looked at the 3 figures in front of the throne without any fear. While the 9 underworlds king was meeting the 3 emperors, hundreds of thousands of miles away, within the Fox clan's secret realm in the country of Green Hill, the Fox clan's elders and king of the Fox clan were listening to the report from the Holy Maiden of the Fox clan. Their expressions were abnormally solemn. "First elder, what do you think?" On the main seat, the king of the Fox clan looked at the elders seated below and asked. "The Holy Maiden's suggestion is indeed worth considering. With the 9 underworlds king's protection, that young man entering the Imperials is inevitable. If we can form a marriage alliance with the Sky Devil Imperial family, this is a rare opportunity for our Fox clan," the first elder of the Fox clan said solemnly. "That might not be the case." Opposite the elder, a white-haired old woman said in a deep voice, "If someone who isn't part of the Imperials wants to enter the Imperials, they must pass through the 7 paths of the demonic sky. I'm sure everyone knows the difficulty of the 7 paths of the demonic sky. For thousands of years, many great demons and even royal heavenly demons wanted to enter the Imperials, but they all failed in the end." As the old woman's words fell, everyone fell silent. The second elder was right. The 7 paths of the demonic sky was actually a barrier set by the Sky Devil Imperial family for heavenly demons who weren't part of the Imperials. How could it be easy to enter the Imperials? "Mother, first elder, second elder, Xiao Xiao has seen how powerful the 9 underworlds king is in the heavenly demon pool. He is a supreme existence that isn't inferior to an emperor realm expert. Even if young Master Ning can't pass through the 7 paths of the demonic sky, as long as our Fox clan can gain the favor of the 9 underworlds king, this marriage alliance will be worth it." Xiao Xiao looked at the 3 of them and said seriously. On the main seat, the king of the Fox clan frowned slightly. Her beautiful eyes kept flashing with thoughts. Xiao Xiao's words were indeed reasonable, but how should they choose the candidate for the marriage alliance? There were indeed many women of the right age in the Fox clan, but ordinary women of the Fox clan didn't have the qualifications to marry the 9 underworlds king's disciple. "Mother, I'll go." At this moment, a woman walked over from not far away. Her face was considered pretty, but it was far from being stunning. Standing beside the Holy Maiden of the Fox clan, she seemed even more ordinary. "Second sister." Seeing the woman walking over, Xiao Xiao's face was filled with surprise. Clearly, she didn't expect the former to appear here. Greetings to mother and elders. The woman bowed and said respectfully, "Get up." On the main seat, the king of the Fox clan looked at her daughter and said seriously, Do you know what you just said?" One knows. The woman stood up and said calmly, "The marriage alliance with the Sky Devil Imperial family requires a person of similar status. Elder sister is the holy maiden of the Fox clan, and it's impossible for her to marry into the Sky Devil Imperial family. Choosing someone else wouldn't show the sincerity of the Fox clan. Only one status is the most suitable." Are you serious? You have never met the 9 Underworld's king's disciple. Won't you regret making this decision? The king of the Fox clan said seriously. One is serious. I won't regret it. The woman said softly. Hearing this, the king of the Fox clan looked at both sides and said, "Elders, what do you think?" The first elder of the Fox clan and the white-haired old woman looked at each other and nodded. One is indeed the most suitable candidate for the marriage alliance. One, have you really thought it through? Don't be rash. On the side, Xiao Xiao looked at her second younger sister and advised. Elder sister, don't worry. One made this decision after careful consideration. One replied softly. When Xiao Xiao heard this, she frowned unconsciously. Although she was unwilling, she didn't say anything else. That young Master Ning was indeed a dragon among men. However, one had never met him before, so she was still worried. There were many women of the right age in the Fox clan. She originally wanted her mother to choose someone to adopt as her goddaughter and marry into the Sky Devil Imperial family. She didn't expect one to take the initiative. Since one agrees, after the 9 Underworld's king's disciple passes through the 7 paths of the demonic sky, we'll discuss the marriage alliance with the Sky Devil Imperial family. On the main seat, the first elder of the Fox clan said. On the main seat, the king of the Fox clan hesitated for a moment, but he didn't have a reason to refuse. He nodded helplessly and said, "We'll do as the first elder says." Mother, elders, one still has something to do. I'll take my leave first. During the banquet, one bowed respectfully to her mother and the elders of the Fox clan before getting up and leaving. Seeing one leave, a strange look flashed across the king of the Fox clan's eyes. Her second daughter had always been quiet. Especially when compared to her elder sister, she seemed very ordinary. However, Wan-er's decision this time was truly out of everyone's expectations. It seemed that she knew too little about her daughter. Mother, I'll also take my leave first. During the banquet, Xiao Xiao was still worried. She bowed respectfully to everyone before getting up and leaving. In front of the green bamboo house that was not far away from the clear pond, Xiao Xiao walked over. Looking at the woman in front of the bamboo house, she quickened her pace. Xiao Xiao looked at the former and said, "Don't be silly. Our Fox clan has many women of the right age. There's no need for you to marry them. They can join other clans and fight for a good future. However, you don't need them. Why do you have to suffer?" Elder sister. One shifted her gaze and looked at the woman beside her. She smiled and said, "I'm not being silly. I'm doing this willingly. Apart from elder sister, all the women of the Fox clan will have to marry sooner or later. Rather than marrying someone I don't like, why don't I make a choice now?" Wata looked into the distance and said softly, "An expert who can suppress the geniuses of the 100 clans. One won't be disgraced if I marry him. Although we've never met, one is willing to take a gamble." Chapter 1043. Within the first Kuan Emperor Palace in the Primordial Demon region, more than a month had passed since the 9th Underworld King entered the palace. Everyone was waiting for the result. However, what everyone didn't understand was that there was no movement from the first Kuan Emperor Palace for more than a month. What are the 3 demon emperors thinking? Within the 3 royal city, all the forces looked toward the first Kuan Emperor Palace and guessed what had happened. After another 10 days, clouds started to gather above the first Kuan Emperor Palace, and a majestic voice resounded throughout the 3 royal city. Summon Ning Chen from the 9th Underworld King Palace. The first Kuan Demon Emperor personally gave the order, and the 3 royal cities shook. Everyone looked toward the 9th Underworld King Palace with serious expressions. It was finally about to begin. The 9th Underworld King had brought this young man back to the 3 royal city for almost 2 months, and they had been waiting for this day. If someone without the royal bloodline wanted to enter the Sky Demon Imperial family, they would have to pass through the 7 paths of demonic sky. This was the ancestral rule, and no one could go against it. Under everyone's gazes, the door of the 9th Underworld King Palace opened, and a figure in plain clothes walked out. His white hair danced in the wind, and he looked extremely dazzling. 100 years of white hair represented the hardships of his life. Ning Chen walked toward the 3 royal palace step by step. His steps were firm, and he wasn't afraid of any hardships. Before the 9,000 stone steps of the 3 royal palace, knowing Destiny's figure appeared. All the guards on both sides focused and watched him enter the palace. In front of the throne in the first Kuan Emperor Palace, 3 terrifying auras floated up and down. They were so bright that no one could see their figures clearly. Below the palace, many powerful figures stood quietly. The members of the royal family had all arrived, and they were split into 2 rows. The 3 princes stood at the head of the group on the left. Their auras were powerful, and the most powerful one was already a peak king. Ning Chen entered the palace, and everyone, including the 3 princes, looked over. They had all heard of this disciple of the 9th Underworld King, but no one had seen him before. The first seat of the 100 races competition and the young expert who had suppressed the 4 royal heirs. No matter how one looked at it, this person could be called a genius. However, the Celestial Devil Imperial family never lacked geniuses. Even the most ordinary disciple in the Imperial family would be considered an absolute genius in the other big clans. Greetings to the 3 demon emperors. In the main hall, Ning Chen stopped and bowed. Rise. In the middle of the 3 demon emperors, the first Kuan demon emperor spoke. Thank you, Your Majesty. Ning Chen straightened up and stood there quietly. At the head of the right row, the 9th Underworld King looked at the figure in the hall. His calm eyes turned serious. He could only delay for so long in the 2 months. He could no longer interfere with the 7 paths of demonic sky. If you are not a member of the Imperial family, you must pass the test of the 7 paths of the demonic sky if you wish to enter our Sky Devil Imperial family. The 9th Underworld King should have already told you about this. Are you prepared? In front of the throne, in the dazzling light, the first Kuan Demon Emperor asked again. Reporting to the Devil Emperor, Master has indeed informed us. Ning Chen replied calmly. Since you already know, I won't waste my breath. As long as you can successfully pass through the 7 paths of the demonic sky, you can officially become a member of the Sky Devil Imperial family, First Demon Emperor Kuan said lightly. Ning Chen nodded but didn't say anything. He wasn't interested in becoming a member of the Celestial Demonic Imperial family. However, if he could take this opportunity to enter the Celestial Demonic Imperial family and find the secret technique of the Phoenix clan, that was what he cared about more. Do you have anything else to say? In front of the throne, the first Kuan Demon Emperor asked again. Reporting to the Devil Emperor, no. Ning Chen bowed and replied. Great. I will now open the entrance of the 7 paths of the demonic sky for you. I hope you can walk out successfully. As soon as he finished speaking, demonic aura filled the air in front of the throne. An unparalleled and terrifying aura rose rapidly, causing the entire hall to shake violently. In the next moment, the void in front of Ning Chen stirred, and a huge space tunnel appeared. Demonic aura surged violently, sending chills down one's spine. Be careful. Just do your best. There is no need to force it. The 9th Underworld King said calmly. I understand. Ning Chen replied softly and didn't say anything else. He walked directly into the space tunnel in front of him. At the head of the left row, Xian Qing looked at Ning Chen, who was walking into the space tunnel. Whether he was qualified to enter the royal family, or whether he was qualified to be Xian Qing's friend, would depend on his performance in the 7 paths of the demonic sky. Ning Chen entered the 7 paths of the demonic sky. In the royal palace, The royal family members looked at the ninth underworld king again. After so many years, the ninth underworld king had returned. This was an outcome that no one wanted to see. The forces of the three royal cities had been balanced for thousands of years. Once it was broken, the forces of the three royal cities would be reshuffled. Even if they could survive this chaos, they would be greatly affected. Ninth underworld, it's time for you to break through to the imperial plane. While the crowd was deep in thought, the 8 Desolation Demon Emperor of the three sovereigns spoke. As soon as he finished speaking, all the kings were shocked. Only then did they regain their senses. Their hearts were heavy. Thank you for your reminder, 8th royal brother. The 9th underworld king replied calmly. On the opposite side, other than Xian Qing, the other 2 royal princes looked at the 9th underworld king opposite them. Each of them had their own thoughts. However, neither of them showed it on their faces. Within the 7 paths of the demonic sky, demonic qi surged. Everywhere was desolate. Ningchen walked in with a solemn expression. The 9th underworld king had only briefly mentioned the 7 paths of the demonic sky. He did not talk about the dangers in detail. Therefore, he knew nothing about the 7 paths of the demonic sky. As these thoughts flashed in his mind, Ningchen walked forward step by step. Just now, he had taken less than 100 steps when the surrounding heaven and earth instantly changed. The darkness and desolation vanished, and what entered his eyes was an expanse of exuberant vitality, luxuriant green grass, and fragrant flowers. On the grass, there was a bamboo house. In front of the bamboo house, a beautiful figure was squatting in the herb garden. She looked focused as she organized the herbs in front of her. The woman's face was so familiar. She was so beautiful that she did not look like a mortal woman. There was a beauty in the north. She was peerless and independent. With a glance, she could topple a city. With another glance, she could topple a country. It was difficult to find another beauty. After almost 100 years, seeing this familiar face again, Ning Chen's body unconsciously trembled. A sorrowful smile appeared on his face. He stepped forward. In the herb garden in front of the bamboo house, the woman turned her head and smiled when she saw him. "You're back? Go wash your hands and get ready to eat." "Okay." Ningchen nodded and smiled. In the bamboo house, the aroma of the food filled the air. Ningchen washed his hands and walked to the table. Looking at the food on the table, his smile became more sorrowful. "What's wrong? Is it not to your taste?" The woman looked at him and asked softly. Ningchen shook his head and smiled. "I thought of some past events. Sit down and eat." The woman nodded and sat opposite him. She picked up the bamboo chopsticks and picked up some vegetables for him. She said softly, "Eat more?" Ningchen nodded. His hand that was holding the chopsticks steadied a little. He quietly began to eat. "After eating, we are going to visit Mother's grave," the woman said. Ningchen nodded again and softly replied. After Ningchen entered the 7 paths of the demonic sky in the first king palace, an illusory screen appeared in the sky above the palace. It reflected what was happening in the 7 paths of the demonic sky. The leader of the kings, Xian Qing, looked at the screen and frowned. The 7 paths of the demonic sky corresponded to the 7 emotions of the human world: joy, anger, sorrow, joy, love, evil, and desire. The first stage was relatively easy. He did not expect to be trapped in the first stage. If one is trapped in an illusion and cannot walk out, they will be trapped forever. 9 Underworld King, did you not remind your disciple to be careful of the illusions in the 7 paths of the demonic sky? A powerful king of the royal family sitting opposite the 9 Underworld Kings sneered. "There is no need." When the 9th Underworld King heard this, he said indifferently, "How could this king's disciple be trapped in an illusion so easily?" In front of the throne, the 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor looked at the screen in front of him and squinted his eyes. He had met this young man once at the Heavenly Devil Lake, so he knew a little about him. Back then, this young man did not show any fear when facing him. It showed how determined he was. He would not be trapped in an illusion in the first stage. If this young man already knew that this was an illusion, why would he still be trapped in it? He has an obsession and is unwilling to walk out. The first Kunyi demon emperor beside the 7 brilliance demon emperor said calmly, "This young man was born in the human race, but he lost his mind and became a demon. It shows that there is a past in his heart that no one knows about. This young man is indeed not trapped in the illusion, but he is unwilling to walk out." While the crowd was watching, time and space in the first stage of the 7 paths of the demonic sky changed. A white-clothed figure and a beautiful woman walked side by side to the north of the bamboo hut. 10 miles away, in front of a neatly repaired tomb, the two people walked over with offerings that the woman had prepared in advance. "Mother, my husband and I have come to visit you." The woman knelt in front of the tomb and took out the offerings from the wooden box. Her beautiful face was filled with longing. Ningchen also knelt down silently beside her. He looked at the name engraved on the tombstone in front of him. After some time, black blood kept dripping from the corner of his mouth. "Husband, the food is poisoned. Didn't you notice?" The woman turned around and looked at the young man beside her with a gentle smile. "I noticed it," Ningchen replied softly. He looked at the familiar face of the woman beside him and said softly, "You two are really alike. Almost exactly the same." The woman smiled and said, "Let me introduce myself again. My name is Huan Ji, the master of the first stage of the 7 paths of the demonic sky." As soon as she finished speaking, the woman's face changed. Her beautiful face was no longer the same as before. "Ningchen, the woman you just transformed into is my wife." A smile appeared on Ningchen's face. Gradually, the world around him changed. Snow fell from the sky and winter arrived in the blink of an eye. Huan Ji's expression changed slightly when she felt the change of the seasons. "What's going on? Wasn't he poisoned?" Ningchen raised his hand and grabbed the woman's throat in front of him. Huan Ji wanted to dodge, but she realized that the space around her had frozen like a swamp. She could not move at all. "Now, you don't look like her." Ningchen grabbed the throat of the woman in front of him. His previously gentle expression had now turned abnormally cold. Chapter 1044. In the first stage of the 7 paths of demonic sky, the illusion trapped the knowing destiny state. The moment the illusion returned to its original appearance, killing intent exploded from Ningchen's eyes as he grabbed the woman's throat. His cold and emotionless eyes no longer had the gentleness from before. Ningchen's body was surrounded by cold air as his peerless foundation affected the heaven and earth, turning everything within 1,000 miles into winter. Huan Ji was shocked as fear appeared on her beautiful face. This was the first time in 1,000 years that she felt so close to death. The undisguised killing intent became even more bone-chilling. The aura of the yellow springs wrapped around Ningchen's hand. Feeling the clear killing intent from Ningchen, Huan Ji's body quickly transformed and retreated 1,000 feet away. Ningchen had never seen such a strange martial art before. Seeing this, Ningchen's eyes narrowed slightly. He took a step forward, and in an instant he rushed forward. The hand that grabbed her throat followed her like a shadow. Demonic chi surged out from Ningchen's body, reaching 3,000 feet. Huan Ji suppressed the fear in her heart and used her mortal realm cultivation. Her hand turned from void to solid as she blocked Ningchen's attack. As the two exchanged blows, killing intent filled the air. After the two merged, Ningchen was at the peak of the 3rd realm and his cultivation was close to the mortal realm. Although the owner of the first stage of the 7 paths of demonic sky was at the mortal realm, Huan Ji, who wasn't good at fighting, was completely suppressed. She was in danger. Not wanting to fight for a long time, Ningchen used a peerless technique and his powerful foundation erupted. The might of the 9 heavens star-picking hand appeared. As soon as he attacked, the heaven and earth shook. The star-picking hand's ultimate move shook the stars in the sky. Being so close, the heavy palm landed on Huan Ji's body. Huan Ji could not dodge in time and with a groan, her body flew back 1,000 feet. With a bang, Huan Ji crashed into a mountain in the first stage of the 7 paths of demonic sky. She coughed out blood and was heavily injured. In front of her, Ningchen was surrounded by wind and snow, but he didn't move forward. The owner of the first stage was heavily injured and the battle stopped. In the first stage of the 7 Paths of Demonic Sky, the space shook and the entrance to the second stage appeared before knowing destiny. Ning Chen walked in and disappeared in the blink of an eye. In the second stage of the 7 Paths of Demonic Sky, a black mass of martial artists stood in the air. Their auras were shocking and covered the sky. Among the thousands of martial artists, a black-clothed middle-aged man stood quietly with a halberd in his hand. On the peak of the mountain, the red-clothed figure was covered in blood. The scarlet chain in his hand pierced through the green-clothed woman's chest. Blood gushed out and dyed her clothes red. The green-robed woman's body leaned backwards, falling from the mountain peak. Blood splattered across her chest, a ghastly sight. It was a familiar scene, a scene that he didn't want to see the most. Below, Ning Chen looked at the scene on the mountain peak. Even though he knew that this was an illusion created by the 7 demonic Tao, he still couldn't suppress the rage in his heart. Slaying demons under the heavens was the most unforgettable scar in Ning Chen's life. At this moment, it was reopened. Ning Chen stomped his foot and leaped up. On the cliff, a beautiful figure in green fell from the peak. She was desolate and shocked. For the person she treasured the most in her life, she would have no regrets even if she had to give up her life. Ning Chen reached out his hand to catch the beautiful figure in green that was falling down from the peak. At the same time, thousands of phantoms rushed over from the peak. It was hard to tell which one was the real one. Countless weapons slashed down mercilessly. In Ning Chen's arms, the azure-robed figure disappeared. The illusion shattered and returned to nothingness. The heavy halberd pierced through the air with enough power to split open the sky. The master of the second stage of the 7 demonic Tao had appeared. Ning Chen turned his head. Amidst the surging demonic qi, Crimson Viper appeared in his hand. With a clang, it blocked the deadly heavy halberd. Ning Chen's eyes were filled with rage and killing intent. Ning Chen shouted and his killing intent erupted. Crimson Viper of the demonic Tao appeared once again. The middle-aged man snorted coldly and waved his halberd to meet the attack. He fully released his cultivation of the middle stage of the Red Dust Realm. With his rich battle experience, his attacks were far more threatening than the master of the first stage. Facing the master of the second stage of the 7 demonic Tao, Ning Chen's killing intent became more and more intense. The sword and halberd clashed, instantly becoming white-hot. The mighty shockwaves destroyed mountains and cracked rocks. The surrounding peaks continued to collapse. As the sword light flashed, a mountain peak was split in half. It was a shocking scene. The sword that had returned to its original state was ordinary. However, its power was shocking. After exchanging several moves, the middle-aged man was shocked. He put away the last trace of contempt in his heart and attacked with all his strength. The heavy halberd fell again. However, Ning Chen didn't retreat. Instead, he moved forward and dodged the halberd. Then, his left hand struck towards the middle-aged man's chest. The middle-aged man's expression became serious. He raised his left arm and blocked the incoming attack. The middle-aged man was pushed back several steps by the force of the palm strike. Before he could react, the sharp sword tip came again. The sword was simple but filled with endless killing intent. Every move was deadly. There wasn't a trace of hesitation. It was so cold that it made people shiver. The sword had reached the pinnacle and returned to its original state. After learning the sword for 30 years, Ning Chen's sword had unknowingly surpassed the only one and reached a higher realm. The sword and halberd clashed again. Ning Chen's peerless foundation and the sword's extreme state increased their power by several folds. 12 styles of spiritual rhino, sky-raising waterfall. The moment the sword and halberd clashed, Ning Chen gathered his energy and used the moon-worshipping clan's secret art. Monstrous waves soared into the sky with shocking power. The moment the waterfall reached the sky, the middle-aged man retreated quickly to avoid the waves. His hasty counterattack revealed a flaw. Ning Chen's figure flashed past and appeared behind the middle-aged man in an instant. Qi Lian waved his slash and a murderous aura filled the air. The middle-aged man sensed danger coming from behind and immediately bent down to dodge. Ning Chen snorted coldly. He gathered his energy in his left palm again and struck the middle-aged man's back. With a rumble, the middle-aged man fell from the sky and landed on the ground. A cloud of dust rose hundreds of feet high. Ning Chen's figure descended from the sky. The moment his feet touched the ground within 100 miles started to rumble. The ground was uprooted and turned into a prison, trapping the middle-aged man. Ning Chen looked at the master of the second stage trapped in the mountain. He clenched his left hand and the mountain immediately shrunk. "Spare me!" Inside the mountain, the middle-aged man felt the mountains change and quickly begged for mercy. Hearing the middle-aged man begging for mercy, Ning Chen's left hand stopped. He activated the scroll of earth and the mountain opened, releasing the master of the second stage. "Congratulations, you've passed." The middle-aged man suppressed the throbbing in his heart and said. As soon as he said that, the space between the two twisted and the entrance to the third stage appeared. Ning Chen didn't hesitate and walked in. Just as Ning Chen entered the third stage on the Heavenly Barrier Mountain, which was thousands of miles away, there was a rumbling sound in the forbidden land of the Rock Clan. Not long after, thunder rumbled in the sky. Endless heavenly lightning fell from the sky and landed in the forbidden land of the Rock Clan. Not far away, the old Peng King walked out from the Heavenly Barrier Mountain's King Palace. Seeing the changes in the forbidden ground, a serious look flashed in his eyes. Was he finally going to break through? It seemed that this blow wasn't a bad thing for him. The mortal realm was the biggest barrier between mortals and immortals. As long as he could break through this barrier, Aolai's future would be limitless. Endless heavenly lightning engulfed the Preng race's forbidden ground. After a long time, the lightning gradually dissipated. A young man in battle armor walked out with a halberd in his hand. "Father!" Aolai bowed, his eyes flickering. "I know what you want to do. Don't worry. That young man is currently challenging the 7 paths of the demonic sky. I'm sure many people in the Celestial Devil Imperial family don't want him to succeed. Even if he succeeds, the Imperial family in the 3 Imperial cities won't truly acknowledge him. You still have many opportunities to kill him." As he spoke, the Preng King looked at the 3 Imperial cities in the distance. The shadow that the young man had left in Aolai's heart could only be removed with his death. Now, with the 9th Underworld King's protection, it would be much more troublesome to get rid of this person. However, the forces in the 3 Imperial cities were complicated. With the Imperial family restraining them, the 9th Underworld King couldn't interfere in everything. At the same time, countless gazes from the Scaled Race, Golden Lion Race, Rock Spirit Race, and the other Imperial families gathered in the direction of the 3 Imperial cities. The first place of the 100 Races competition actually had the bloodline of the Celestial Devil Clan. This was something that no one had expected. Now, this person had been accepted as a disciple by the 9th Underworld King, which shocked countless people. The 9th Underworld King's identity was truly too special. In the past, he was the pride of the Celestial Devil Imperial family. He hadn't even entered the King realm, yet several Emperor realm experts had determined that he was a peerless genius who would definitely enter the King realm. Now, he'd made an appearance once more and shocked the world. What sort of status would the Celestial Devil Imperial family give his disciple? A prince, or a crown prince? There were many princes in the Celestial Devil Imperial family who possessed the Imperial bloodline. However, there were only 12 princes who were the direct descendants of the 3 emperors. Among them, the 3 crown princes even possessed the purest imperial bloodline. No matter if it was in terms of natural talent or strength, they were extraordinary. The 9th Underworld King hadn't entered the King realm yet. Logically speaking, his disciple would at most be given the status of a prince. However, many people had clearly witnessed the battle at the Celestial Devil Lake. Presently, the 9th Underworld King's strength wasn't inferior to an Emperor realm expert. In terms of combat strength, the 3 Imperial cities could even be renamed as the 4 Imperial cities. The Celestial Devil Imperial family that possessed the combat strength of 4 Emperor realm experts could practically be described as terrifying. The other clans would never be able to rival them. Everyone was filled with anticipation as to what sort of status the celestial devil imperial family would give to the successor of such a king. Everyone was paying attention. Thousands of gazes in the three imperial cities were similarly looking towards the three imperial palace as they awaited the final outcome. The 7 paths of Devil Sky was the best excuse for them to prevent the 9th underworld king and his disciple from fully entering the celestial devil imperial family. Once the latter failed, then even the 9th underworld king's dignity would suffer a setback. In the past few thousand years, the 7 paths of Devil Sky had prevented countless great devils and members of royal clans from entering the celestial devil imperial family. Hopefully, it wouldn't be an exception this time. The strength of the celestial devil imperial family wasn't unexpected. Besides the strength of their bloodline, there were many other secrets that outsiders didn't know about. Only the members of the celestial devil imperial family were qualified to know about these secrets. In the 3rd stage of the 7 paths of Devil Sky, mountains and rivers were shattered, and blood dyed the ground red. Tragic scenes of misery and suffering could be seen everywhere. However, after passing the first 2 stages, Ningchen turned a blind eye to the illusions around him. The baleful aura on the crimson drill sword in his hand grew denser and denser, and the illusions were instantly destroyed with a swing of his sword. Space changed, and the master of the 3rd stage appeared. Before the master of the 3rd stage could react, the white-clothed figure had already moved. The sword in her hand drew a dazzling bloody mark in the sky, and it was a stunning sight. Chapter 1045. In the 3rd stage of the 7 paths of Demonic Sky, the frenzied blade was domineering. The guardian of the late-stage Red Dust Realm appeared and used the flaming moon to wipe out the army. The blade and the sword clashed, and the flames of war spread far and wide. Ji Ming held the crimson sword in his hand and was covered in the flames of war. As the divine weapons clashed, the sound of metal clashing could be heard. Sparks flew and killing intent spread. The road ahead was difficult, but Ji Ming was never afraid. With the sword in his hand, he cut through all obstacles. Ice and fire clashed in the extreme. The flaming moon howled, and flames filled the sky. The flaming blade was a rare divine weapon in the world. Its ability to set a prairie ablaze was shocking. However, knowing destiny was not afraid of the world-burning flame at all. Wherever his sword passed, it froze everything within 1,000 miles. The moment they passed each other, the sword and the blade clashed, and the fist and palm clashed. It was a tie, and it showed the strength of the challenger. In the first Kuan King Palace, the 3 demon emperors and the kings looked at the sky, and they could not remain calm. For the younger generation to have such powerful strength, it was truly extraordinary. Even the prince of the Heavenly Demon Clan could not match a late-stage Red Dust Realm expert before entering the Red Dust Realm. It seemed that the Stone Tribe, the Scale Tribe, and the Golden Lion Tribe lost in the Blood Moon ancient battlefield. 9 Nether, your disciple is not bad. The 8 Desolation Demon Emperor praised as he stood in front of the throne, surrounded by a savage aura. The leader of the kings, the 9 Nether King, looked at the battle in the sky and said calmly, "Thank you for your praise, but this is just the beginning. I believe that his strength is much more than that. Next, we will witness the glory of the strongest of the younger generation." The kings were in an uproar. The 9 Nether Kings' words were too arrogant. This young man was indeed not bad, but the title of number 1 of the younger generation. Since the ancient times, who could shoulder it? There were countless sky prides in the world, and the successors of the royal family and the sovereign family were even more outstanding. In addition to the Heavenly Demon Clan's princes, they all had their own strengths. Even the 3 demon emperors did not dare to say that. The strongest of the younger generation? 9 Nether, I hope your disciple is worthy of this evaluation. The voice of the 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor came from the black demonic sun floating in front of the throne. Between the 2 demon emperors, the first demon emperor didn't say anything. Instead, he looked at the sky quietly. Thoughts flashed through his mind. If this young man was really that capable, it wouldn't be a problem to let him enter the imperial family. 3 royal cities had been quiet for too long. It was time for someone to break this stagnant pool of water. Just as the three sovereigns and the various kings were having their own thoughts, the battle between the two in the third stage of the demonic sky 7 paths had reached its climax. Qi Lian and Yen Yu were both dazzling. Their figures continuously crisscrossed, and demonic qi surged. Saber lights and sword images chopped apart one mountain after another. Between the lofty mountains and lofty ridges, the figures of the two flashed quickly. Every time they clashed, they would kick up huge waves of dust, shocking the world. The clash of divine weapons, the collision of fists and palms, the increasingly white-hot battle was so intense that no one could take their eyes off it. So, this is the power of the Red Dust Realm. Many thanks. After 100 moves, the light in Ning Chen's eyes became brighter and brighter. It wasn't the first time that he had fought with experts above the Red Dust Realm. However, he had always been scheming, and there were very few battles that were truly equal. In the past, he wasn't strong enough to fight against those in the Red Dust Realm, so he had no choice but to scheme. However, in the end, scheming and scheming weren't the right path. Only by being strong could one deal with all the dangers that were beyond one's calculations. 3,000 miles of sword snow. The sea of fire burned the world, and the sword snow split the sky. Amidst the flames that filled the sky, Ning Chen used the scroll of life fortune. The Taoist sect's supreme technique reappeared. In an instant, the wind and clouds above Qi Lian changed. Boundless cold qi spread out, and the space within 3,000 miles was instantly frozen. The sword fell into the snow, and heaven and earth went silent. The leader of the third stage's expression darkened, and the Yen Yu appeared in the sky to block the attack. With a boom, the two extreme powers collided. The leader of the third stage took half a step back, and with a flip of his palm, he countered with a powerful attack. A vast palm essence tore through the air. However, the white-clothed figure in front of him instantly disappeared without a trace. How? Before he could react, the figure of knowing destiny appeared behind him, and with a heavy palm energy, he struck the leader's back. Arg! With a muffled groan, the figure fell rapidly. In the sky, Ning Chen moved and quickly followed. With a loud boom, the leader of the third stage fell to the ground. Behind him, Ning Chen rushed forward, and the Qi Lian in his hand was placed horizontally on the leader's throat. You lost. Ning Chen looked at the figure that fell to the ground and said calmly. The leader of the third stage looked at the sword in front of his throat, and confusion flashed in his eyes. He sighed softly and said, You passed. As soon as he finished speaking, the space in the distance rolled, and the entrance to the fourth stage appeared, welcoming the challenger. Ning Chen put away his sword, and without any delay, he turned and walked towards the next stage. Young man, can you tell me what happened just now? Why did you suddenly become so fast? The leader of the third stage stood up and asked as he looked at the departing figure. It's not that I'm fast, it's that you're slow. Ning Chen said calmly, and then walked towards the entrance of the fourth stage. In the first Kuan Emperor Palace, the kings looked at the sky in front of them, and they still hadn't recovered from the battle just now. It was too sudden. The battle was originally on par, so why did it suddenly take a turn for the worse? What happened at the last moment? Why was the leader of the third stage so slow that he couldn't even dodge such a simple attack? Time restriction. In front of the throne, the first Kuan demon emperor's voice rang out, shocking the kings. One of the 3 great god restrictions, the time restriction? Wasn't this a restriction that only existed in legends? It was impossible for humans to do it, and only the heavens could do it. This 9th Underworld King's disciple actually knew this god restriction that only existed in legends. From the looks of it, it will be difficult to stop him in the next 3 stages. On the right side of the first Kuan Demon Emperor, the 8 Desolation Demon Emperor spoke again. Although the leaders of the 4th, 5th, and 6th stages were getting stronger, there wasn't any qualitative change. With the strength that this young man had displayed, it shouldn't be a problem for him to pass the next 3 stages. Just as the 8 Desolation Demon Emperor had said, Ning Chen's speed in the next 3 stages of the demonic sky 7 paths was getting faster and faster. After going through the first 3 stages, he gradually understood the fighting style of the Red Dust Realm. The leaders of the 3 stages weren't weak, but facing the life-knowing expert who had mastered the extreme state of the sword and 2 great god restrictions, their attacks were severely restricted. The 3 leaders couldn't break through the endless changes of the 2 great god restrictions and were defeated one after another. In the 6th stage of the demonic sky 7 paths, the defeated leader looked at the young man in front of him with a complicated expression. The student had surpassed the master. The current younger generation had grown to such a terrifying level. Thank you. Ningchen cupped his fists and walked towards the entrance of the 7th stage. Let me remind you. Behind him, the leader of the 6th level looked at the young man in front of him and said seriously, "The guardian of the next level is different from us. She is a real king realm cultivator. Guard your heart well and don't be fooled by her appearance." Chapter 1046. The 7th stage of the 7 paths of demonic sky, knowing destiny, appeared. The surroundings were filled with birds chirping and the fragrance of flowers. It was a peaceful paradise. Ningchen didn't feel any danger as he walked in. However, his expression became even more serious as he was fully on guard. The master of the 6th stage reminded him that the guardian of the 7th stage was a terrifying expert in the king realm, so he couldn't be careless. The king realm was a true cultivator in the 4th realm. Every single one of them was an expert with shocking abilities. They had mastered the laws of the king realm and had transcended the mortal world. The last stage of the 7 paths of demonic sky. For thousands of years, there weren't many people who could reach this stage. However, all of them failed at this stage and couldn't surpass the prestige of the king realm. Ningchen walked in the paradise and didn't see anyone. His expression became more serious as he looked around and was on guard. After another 100 steps, he heard the sound of a waterfall from afar. Ningchen stopped and walked towards the direction of the sound after a while. A few miles away, a huge waterfall fell from the sky above a clear lake and washed the rocks below. Below the waterfall, there was a clear lake with sparkling water that looked exceptionally clear. In the clear lake, there was a young lady bathing. Her body was crystal clear like jade and her long hair hung down. She looked even more alluring. In the distance, a silhouette in plain clothes walked over. She had a calm expression and a pretty face. She didn't seem aggressive at all. Ningchen stopped in front of the clear lake and looked at the lady bathing in the lake. He bowed respectfully and said, "Greetings, senior. I'm Ningchen." "Am I that old?" In the lake, the lady had her back facing Ningchen and said softly, "There's a seniority in learning Tao. Those who are first should be senior in this life," Ningchen replied. "Has anyone told you that a woman is most sensitive to age?" The lady still didn't turn around and said, "Yes. However, as a junior, I can't be rude," Ningchen said calmly. "You're so young but so old-fashioned. You're really an unromantic blockhead." The lady turned around and looked at the young man beside the lake. She smiled and said, "Am I pretty?" "Yes," Ningchen replied honestly. "Then I'll walk out for you to see?" The lady's smile became even brighter as she spoke softly. "Men and women shouldn't touch each other. Senior, please respect yourself," Ningchen was unmoved and replied. In the clear pond, the woman smiled gently. She straightened her body and walked towards the shore step by step. Ningchen frowned and silently turned around to avoid her gaze. Seeing this, the woman's smile became even more radiant. It had been a long time since she had met such an adorable young man. Unfortunately, her current identity was the master of the 7th stage of the Devil Sky 7 paths, so she had to complete her mission first. The woman waved her hand, and from the grass not far away, a light veil flew over and attached itself to her body. Without saying a word, her delicate hand extended outwards. A world-shaking might swept up a giant wave that was tens of thousands of feet high as it swept forward. The waves pressed down, and the sky and earth changed color. Ningchen looked back at the side of the clear pond. The sword gleam in his hand flashed, and it was a famous weapon that shocked the heavens and earth. With a swing of the sword, the divine weapon once again shone with a peerless sharpness. In an instant, The giant wave was reversed and rushed toward the woman. Seeing this, Queen Desire turned her palm to block the huge wave that was descending from the sky. A strange expression flashed across her beautiful face. What a strange sword. Senior, a sneak attack from behind is not the behavior of a gentleman. As he spoke, Ning Chen's body moved. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of the woman. The tip of his sword slashed out mercilessly. Sister is a woman, not a gentleman. Queen Desire chuckled. Her delicate hand condensed chi to block the divine sword. With a clang, the palm and sword met. Queen Desire felt her body sink, and her legs sank into the ground. The moment her body was restrained, Ning Chen concentrated his chi and used the 12 forms of spiritual rhinoceros to attack. The mighty power shook the heavens and earth. The smile on Queen Desire's face finally disappeared. Her delicate hand condensed chi to block the incoming attack. With a boom, the two palms met, and the turbulent waves shook violently. The two of them separated, each bearing the remaining force. Your strength is not bad. No wonder you can make it this far. Be careful, sister is going to be serious. Before she finished speaking, Queen Desire's delicate hand moved. Within 1,000 miles, pink mist surrounded the two of them. A decadent aura filled the air and drowned the two of them. Within the king's domain, Ning Chen felt the changes in his body. He frowned slightly. This mist was not simple. The surging chi of blood became more and more unstable. Under the influence of the mist, it continued to fill up his meridians. Since sister has been given the title of Queen Desire, I naturally have some special skills. Young master, it's not too late to admit defeat now. Within the red mist, Queen Desire's voice drifted between the heavens and the earth, making it difficult for others to tell the direction. Sorry, I can't do it. Ning Chen stood within the king's domain and replied coldly. The moon demonic divine weapon in his hand shone brightly as he slashed out. With a boom, Queen Desire shattered the sword chi with a flip of her palm. She looked at the figure in the mist, and a bright light flashed in her eyes. The sword in this youngster's hand was strange. It seemed to be able to make one's body heavier, which was very troublesome. Thinking about this, Queen Desire opened her hands, and a horrifying power quickly gathered, pressing forward. Within the pink mist, Ning Chen looked over and saw the surging king's power in the sky. His expression turned cold. Great Sword Realm, Sword Emperor. Under the pressure of the king's power, Ning Chen activated his Sword Realm. Instantly, 10,000 swords soared into the sky and welcomed the king's power. The rumbling shook the entire demonic sky. 7 paths soared light and king's power shook the heavens and the earth. Within the small world, Ning Chen stepped into the air, and his figure instantly appeared in front of the girl. The moon demonic divine weapon slashed down, forcefully counterattacking. Queen Desire's eyes narrowed as she stabilized her body and raised her hand to block the divine weapon again. Boom! The shaking shook again, and Queen Desire's expression changed again. Her body involuntarily flew into the air, and she could not control her body anymore. Ning Chen stepped forward, and his figure soared into the sky. He arrived above the girl, and with a flip of his palm, he slapped down. With a boom, the heavy palm landed on Queen Desire's body, and she fell down, smashing into the ground. After gaining the upper hand in one move, Ning Chen's figure moved again, and he flew down. The divine weapon's sharpness flickered, and he did not hide his killing intent at all. The inverted water moon slashed down again, and he did not hold back at all. A slender hand reached out from the red mist and caught the moon demonic divine weapon. So, this sword can not only make one's body heavier. Queen Desire raised her hand to wipe off the blood at the corner of her mouth. She looked at the youngster in front of her and said with a smile, "Sister, I admit defeat. I don't want to fight anymore." On the other side, Ning Chen heard this, and his expression sank. He could not believe the girl in front of him. What's wrong? You can't believe it? Queen Desire smiled lightly, and pushed away the divine weapon in the former's hand, and said, "Sister admits defeat. You pass." "But, Senior, you didn't lose." Ning Chen asked. "No reason, I just don't want to fight anymore." Queen Desire smiled. There must be a lot of people waiting outside. You should go out. As she spoke, not far away from the two, the void swirled, and the exit of the 7 paths of demonic sky appeared. After you go out, don't forget to send my regards to the 8 Desolation demonic emperor. Queen Desire smiled. Ning Chen nodded lightly, and without asking, he turned and walked towards the exit. He did not know why Queen Desire admitted defeat, but it was good. Under the eyes of the 3 demonic emperors, he would try not to use his trump card if he could. In the first Kuan Emperor Palace, all the demonic kings looked at the 7th stage of the 7 paths of demonic sky in confusion. Queen Desire lost? How could this be? In the battle just now, Queen Desire was indeed suppressed. But even so, she still had the strength to fight. It was too strange for her to admit defeat like this. Willful girl. In front of the throne, the 8 Desolation demonic emperors snorted coldly and said, "She has always been like this. You don't have to be angry." The first Kuan demon emperor replied. He looked at the 9 Nether King below and continued, "9 Nether, congratulations on taking in an incredible disciple." "Elder brother, you flatter me." The 9 Nether King replied. As the two of them spoke, the space in the royal palace shook, and the passage between the 2 worlds appeared. A white-haired figure in plain clothes walked out, immediately attracting everyone's attention. In less than 3 days, he had passed the 7 paths of demonic sky. This was something that had not happened for thousands of years. And the young man in front of them looked like he still had some strength left. It was really terrifying. Queen Desire's withdrawal made it difficult for them to see the bottom line of this person's strength. In this battle, did he use 80% of his strength, 100% of his strength, or 120%? Ning Chen walked out of the passage and bowed to the 9 Nether King, who was the leader of the group. He knew that in the entire primordial demon domain, only the person in front of him cared about him. The 9 Nether King nodded calmly, without any change in his expression. However, there was a flash of relief in the depths of his eyes. Greetings to the 3 demon emperors. After bowing, Ning Chen looked at the 3 demon emperors in front of the throne and bowed again. "You may rise." The first Kuan demon emperor said. "Thank you, demon emperor." Ning Chen stood up and thanked him. "Come forward and listen to the conferment." The first Kuan demon emperor's voice was slightly gentler as he said. Ning Chen nodded and took a few steps forward to stand in front of the group. "I announce that from today onwards, Ning Chen of the 9 Nether King residence will be conferred as the 13th prince of the Heavenly Demon Clan." As soon as the announcement was made, the entire hall was shocked. Even the 2 demon emperors beside him were shocked. They could not believe their elder brother's words. "Prince, only the descendants of the 3 demon emperors would have such an honor." The 9 Nether King was indeed powerful, but he had yet to enter the imperial path. According to the rules, his disciple could only be conferred the position of crown prince at most. "Demon Emperor, this matter is inappropriate. Please reconsider." In the hall, everyone recovered from the shock. One person walked out and asked for the order. "Demon Emperor, please reconsider." After the first person, the other members of the royal family walked out and asked for the order anxiously. The 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor transmitted his voice from the black sun floating beside the first Kuan Demon Emperor. "Eldest brother, it's indeed inappropriate for us to do that. Why don't we make 9th brother's disciple a prince after he achieves the Emperor realm?" The first Kuan Demon Emperor shook his head and replied, "It's fine. The 9 Nether King's strength has already reached the monarch realm. It's not impossible for his disciple to be conferred the title of prince." "Elder brother," the 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor said in a deep voice. "Say no more." The first Kuan Demon Emperor interrupted him. He looked at the crowd below and said, "I've already made up my mind. There's no need for you to say anything." Ning Chen received the order. "Thank you, Demon Emperor." In the hall, Ning Chen bowed respectfully. He looked up at the illusionary figure in front of the throne and narrowed his eyes slightly. What was the number 1 Demon Emperor of the Heavenly Demon Clan planning? Chapter 1047. In the first Kuan Emperor's palace, the Demon Kings requested to stop the Demon King's decree. Among the three demon kings, the Seven Brilliance Demon Emperor also objected to the first Kuan Demon Emperor's decision. However, the first Kuan Demon Emperor ignored the objections of the Seven Brilliance Demon Emperor and the other demon kings. He stood his ground and insisted on his decision. The leader of the demon kings, the Nine Underworld King, watched this quietly. He wasn't surprised at all, as if he already knew that the first Kuan Demon Emperor would make such a decision. On the right of the first Kuan Demon Emperor, the Eight Desolation Demon Emperor chose to remain silent. He didn't express his opinion. The Seven Brilliance Demon Emperor seemed to have understood something when he saw the first Kuan Demon Emperor's insistence and the Eight Desolation Demon Emperor's silence. He didn't say anything else. The demon kings below also noticed the unusual atmosphere in the palace. Although they didn't want to, they had no choice but to step back and accept the fact. Inside the palace, Ningchen received the decree. A dark golden stream of light flew out from the throne and stopped in front of him. It was a token surrounded by demonic aura. It was 3 inches wide and represented the status of a prince of the Heavenly Devil clan. Each token was extremely precious, more precious than any weapon. Ningchen took the Heavenly Devil token and bowed again. He said calmly, "Thank you, Demon King. 3 days later, bring this token to the ancestral land of the Heavenly Devil clan. I'll teach you the true supreme secret technique of the Heavenly Devil clan, the Heavenly Devil 9 transformations." The first Kuan Demon Emperor said sternly before the throne. "Yes," Ningchen said respectfully. "If there's nothing else, you may all leave," the first Kuan Demon Emperor said calmly. Inside the palace, everyone looked at the plain-clothed young man in front of them with complicated feelings. At this point, the 9 Underworld King's disciple had already become the ruler of the royal family. No one could change it. The Heavenly Devil 9 transformations was a secret technique of the royal family. Only the princes or king realm relatives of the royal family had the right to cultivate it. The first Kuan Demon Emperor wanted to teach the Heavenly Devil 9 transformations personally. His attitude couldn't be clearer. Since they couldn't do it, the demon kings didn't stay any longer and left one after another. After the demon kings left, the 3 crown princes also left the palace, including Xianqing. The 3 crown princes didn't say a single word since the beginning. 8 Desolation Demon Emperor, Queen Desire asked me to send her greetings. As he was leaving, Ningchen paused and looked at the terrifying shadow to the right of the first Demon Emperor. "Got it. You may leave." The 8 Desolation Demon Emperor replied calmly. "Yes." Ningchen bowed, then turned around and left. After everyone left, only the 3 demon emperors and the 9th Underworld King were left in the palace. The 4 people who represented the strongest battle prowess of the heavenly demon race gathered in the royal palace with different thoughts in their minds. "Nine Nether, are you satisfied with my arrangements?" In front of the throne, the first Kunyi Demon Emperor spoke. "I will always remember eldest brother's kindness to Ningchen." The 9th Underworld King replied lightly. "Nine Nether, come back. With your comprehension ability, you will be able to attain the sovereign Tao fruit within 100 years as long as you focus on your cultivation. At that time, my heavenly demon clan will truly reign supreme in the human world. No one will dare to disobey us," said the 8 Desolation Demon Emperor. "I've long since grown tired of the struggles in the world. Moreover, the Heavenly Devil clan already has 3 Devil Emperors. There's absolutely no need for a 4th one to appear," the 9th Underworld King said calmly. The auras of the 3 demon sovereigns sank. They thought that 9 Nether's return meant that he had changed his mind. Who would have thought that he was still unwilling to return? "My 3 brothers, the royal clan is flourishing. There's no need for another 9 Nether. I'll take my leave first." After saying that, the 9th Underworld King bowed respectfully to the 3 people in front of the throne and then turned to leave. The king left freely without any reluctance. Perhaps the king had once been obsessed with fighting, but that was all in the past. "Stubborn." The 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor harumphed coldly from the demonic sun floating in front of the throne. His tone was full of dissatisfaction. "Old 9 has just returned. Don't push him too hard. Let's wait patiently." The 8 Desolation Demon Emperor sighed softly. "There's no need to rush this matter. The first Kunyi demon emperor said calmly, Old Nine has spent so much effort to pave the way for his disciple. It's obvious how much he cares about this kid. As long as this kid is in the Heavenly Devil clan, Old Nine won't really leave. Just as the 13th prince of the Heavenly Devil clan was set in stone for Ningchen, secret messages were sent to the various mystic realms of the 100 races, reporting what had happened to the Heavenly Devil Imperial clan. The 100 races were shocked. They could not believe that the Heavenly Devil Imperial clan would make such a decision. They thought that even if the Heavenly Devil Imperial clan could not refuse, they would try their best to prevent the 9th Underworld King and his disciple from joining the Imperial clan. Now, it seemed that things were the opposite. If the 9th Underworld King's disciple was made the 13th prince, it meant that the 9th Underworld King's status was comparable to the 3 demonic emperors. Could it be that the 9th Underworld King was really going to break through to the King realm? For a time, the 100 races were in a panic. It was already very terrifying that the Heavenly Devil clan had 3 demonic emperors. If a 4th demonic emperor really appeared, then even if the other imperial clans of the 100 races joined forces, they would not be able to keep the Heavenly Devil clan in check. In the Green Hill mystic realm of the Fox clan, the secret message from the 3 imperial cities arrived. The king of the Fox clan and several elders looked solemn after reading it. It seems that the marriage can't be delayed any longer. The first elder of the Fox clan looked at the king of the Fox clan on the main seat and said, "This matter can't be delayed. My king, send this secret message to Wan." The white-haired old woman said in a deep voice. The king of the Fox clan sighed and waved his right hand, sending out the secret message. In the distance, in a small bamboo courtyard, a graceful and beautiful woman stood quietly. Beside her was the heavenly maiden of the Fox clan, Xiao Xiao. Her devastatingly beautiful face was unforgettable. Right at this moment, the void swirled, and a stream of light flew in front of the woman. One stretched out her hand and took the secret message in the stream of light. She glanced at it and passed it to the person beside her. Xiao Xiao took the letter, and after reading it, her expression changed. He actually passed the 7 paths of the demonic sky. Xiao Xiao's face was filled with disbelief as she said. Legend had it that the last stage of the 7 paths of the demonic sky was guarded by a powerful king. Since young Master Ning could pass the stage, didn't that mean that his strength was comparable to a king realm expert? Big sister Wan might have made the right bet. Wan looked into the distance with a gentle expression. Xiao Xiao looked at her younger sister and sighed. Wan, I've met young Master Ning twice, but I can't see through him at all. I'm worried that you'll be wronged if you follow such a scheming person. How can I be naive when I'm in a dangerous situation? Wan said softly. Don't worry, big sister. Since Wan has chosen him, I won't regret it. Xiao Xiao fell silent when she heard this. After a long time she said, Big sister will prepare your wedding dress. The 9th Underworld King's estate was brand new, and it was completely different from when the 2 of them had returned. Within the king's estate, Ningchen looked at Xianqing and said, "Third prince, you don't have to go through so much trouble. You should call me royal brother now." Xianqing smiled and said, "You're a newly conferred prince, so how can you not have a decent estate? Moreover, this is the 9th royal uncle's estate. If I don't renovate it properly, royal father won't let me off easily. I'm used to calling you third prince. I'm not used to suddenly changing it." Ningchen smiled lightly and didn't speak any further about this matter. He changed the topic and said, "There's something that I haven't been able to figure out. Who exactly is the owner of the 7th test? I seem to sense an extremely special aura from her." Xianqing sighed lightly and said, "She's called Xian Yu, the daughter of the 8th royal uncle. She's also the 2nd princess of the Heavenly Devil clan. However, because of her mother's low status, the title of princess is only in name, and she's always been ostracized by the other princes and princesses. After second sister stepped into the king realm 400 years ago, she volunteered to guard the 7 paths of the Heavenly Devil clan, and she hasn't left for 400 years. A strange expression flashed through Ningchen's eyes when he heard this. So Queen Desire has such an identity and experience. No wonder I kept feeling a familiar aura from her when I fought her. 13th brother, you'll be heading to the ancestral land of the Heavenly Devil clan to receive the inheritance of the Heavenly Devil 9 transformations in 2 days. This is an extremely rare opportunity, and you must do your best to grasp it. Xianqing spoke seriously. What do you mean? Ningchen was puzzled. The Heavenly Devil 9 transformations is a secret technique of the Imperial clan that isn't passed down to outsiders. Even though it's called the 9 transformations, the true cultivation technique only contains the first 7 levels. Once you cultivate it to the peak of the 7th level, you'll be able to step into the King realm. However, when he spoke up to hear, Xianqing's tone changed, and he continued, if you want to attain the King realm, then you must comprehend the cultivation technique for the 8th level and walk down the path of the King realm that belongs to you. From there, you'll be able to attain the King realm Grand Dao. As for the legendary 9th transformation, it merely exists in legends, and no one has been able to attain it until now. Ningchen's eyes narrowed slightly when he heard this, and he didn't say anything and continued listening to Xianqing. The ancestral land of the Heavenly Devil clan possesses devil chi that's even purer than the Heavenly Devil pool, and it even contains the energy of the laws left behind by the ancestors of the Heavenly Devil clan. When Imperial Father passes down the Heavenly Devil 9 transformations to you 2 days from now, you'll be able to cultivate there for 10 days. During this period of time, the more levels you break through, the more benefits you'll obtain from the ancestral land. Xianqing reminded him kindly. Thank you, Third Prince, for reminding me. Ningchen said seriously. At the same time, in the 7th stage of the 7 paths of the demonic sky, the heavens and earth shook, and an extremely powerful aura descended. The 8th Desolation Demon Emperor had arrived personally, and he descended from the sky. His domineering figure shook the 9 heavens and 10 lands. The 8th Desolation Demon Emperor walked towards the clear pool, and he looked at the woman in the pool and said, We haven't seen each other for 400 years. Are you still unwilling to forgive Imperial Father? In the clear pool, Xian Yu turned around and looked at the figure in front of her. She smiled and said, Forgive? What did Imperial Father do wrong? I don't understand. When the 8th Desolation Demon Emperor heard this, he sighed in his heart and didn't force the issue. He looked at his daughter in front of him and continued, You asked that young man to bring a message to Imperial Father. Do you have any requests? In the clear pool, Xian Yu stood up. Under the light veil, her exquisite body was firmly covered, and there wasn't the slightest hint of spring in her body. I want him, Xian Yu said calmly. He's your Imperial brother now. The 8th Desolation Demon Emperor's face darkened, and he said, So what if he's my Imperial brother? When has the Heavenly Devil clan ever followed the secular rules? Imperial Father, don't you think so? Xian Yu said with a mocking smile. Chapter 1048. Primordial Demon Region, Heavenly Demon Ancestral Land. Demonic chi lingered, and a heavy demonic aura filled the air, turning the area into a forbidden zone. Legend had it that this was the birthplace of the Heavenly Demon clan. Countless Heavenly Demon ancestors chose to return to their ancestral land when they reached the end of their lifespan. On this day, a plain-clothed figure walked over from afar. His face was delicate, and his expression was calm. However, his long white hair was dazzling, adding to his vicissitudes of life. As soon as he stepped into the ancestral land, he could feel the powerful power of laws that filled the area. It was mixed and heavy, protecting each other. It was extremely uncomfortable. Greetings to the 3 demon emperors. Ningchen stopped and bowed respectfully. You may rise. Demonic chi swept out from the depths of the Heavenly Demon ancestral land. A terrifying aura that surpassed the boundaries of heaven and earth appeared. The first demon emperor of the Heavenly Demon clan had appeared. Ningchen looked at the powerful demonic aura in front of him, and his expression turned serious. Compared to the phantom in the 3 emperors' palace, the demon emperor before him was even more terrifying. He could not even tell if the first demon emperor before him was the real body or just a clone. At this moment, the first demon emperor was also sizing up the young man before him. The royal bloodline in this man's body was very pure. It was not much different from the royals. It was obvious that the heavenly demon he had devoured was not an ordinary person in the heavenly demon clan. However, this was not important. This man had the protection of 9 underworlds, and his status was not what it used to be. Apart from the first demon emperor and the other 2 demon emperors, no one could hurt him. The 3 imperial cities and even the entire primordial demon region had been silent for too long. Someone needed to break this balance. The young man before him was the best candidate. After making up his mind, Demon Emperor Kun-E raised his hand to stabilize the sky above the void. Wind and clouds gathered for thousands of miles, and a majestic holy city descended from the sky. A small world that was almost comparable to a big world appeared above the heavenly demon ancestral land. "Come in," the first demon emperor said calmly. "Yes," Ningchen replied softly. He stepped forward and turned into a stream of light, flying toward the floating city in the sky. In the next moment, Ningchen appeared in the demon city. He looked at the ancient and magnificent buildings around him and walked forward step by step. In the deepest part of the demon city, a blood waterfall fell from the sky. The smell of blood filled the air was nauseating. In front of the blood waterfall, the first demon emperor of the celestial devil imperial family was standing in the air. His body was shrouded in mist, which made it impossible to see his face clearly. An existence that transcended the limits of heaven and earth resonated with the great Tao. Countless multicolored lights filled the air, shocking everyone. Not long after, Ningchen appeared. He looked at the ruler in the sky and bowed. "Devil Emperor, no need to be so courteous. Go stand under the blood waterfall. Next, I will teach you the cultivation method of the heavenly demon 9 transformations." Ningchen accepted the order and walked towards the blood waterfall. The majestic blood waterfall fell from the sky, rumbling and echoing for hundreds of miles. When Ningchen stepped into it, he immediately felt an intense burning sensation coming from all over his body. It was unbearable. In front of the blood waterfall, the first demon emperor looked at the young figure under the waterfall and said calmly, "I will only demonstrate it once. How much you can comprehend will depend on your luck." As soon as he finished speaking, demonic chi surged out like a tide, engulfing everything within 100 miles. In the dark demonic chi world, the demonic emperor's martial arts demonstration had 9 levels. There were endless changes, complicated mysteries, and the limit of human strength. Under the blood waterfall, Ningchen endured the burning pain from all over his body while trying to memorize every level of the heavenly demon 9 transformations. 9 transformations, investiture of the gods, a legendary martial art. The first demon emperor had evolved to the 8th transformation, and his aura had reached a terrifying level. Even from thousands of feet away, one could feel the invincible sense of powerlessness. Under the blood waterfall, the dual demonic chi pressed down on Ningchen's body. Ningchen's knees were in intense pain, but he gritted his teeth and refused to bend. A man had gold under his knees. How could he bend his knees so easily? In life, one could lose one's life, but one's dignity was priceless. In the endless demonic chi, after the 8th transformation, the first demon emperor gradually withdrew his aura. He looked at the figure in front of him, and a strange look flashed across his eyes. This young man's willpower was indeed extraordinary. After 10 days, everything here will disappear. So, you have to cherish this rare opportunity. As soon as he finished speaking, the figure of the first demon emperor in the void gradually faded. In the blink of an eye, he had disappeared. Under the blood waterfall, Ningchen endured the pain in his body that was getting more and more intense. He worked hard to activate his demonic vitality and cultivate the 9 transformations of the heavenly demon that he had memorized. He only had 10 days and he could not waste it. In this dangerous primordial demon region, the more powerful he was, the more guarantee he had to survive. With the blood waterfall on his body, the intense burning sensation made it difficult for him to concentrate. However, Ningchen, who had experienced too much pain in the human world, bore the pain and cultivated diligently. The first level of initial awareness, the second level of object prying, the third level of minute subtlety, the fourth level of mountain splitting, the fifth level of overturning the sea, the sixth level of star shaking. The changes flashed through his heart one after another, deepening his understanding of the martial arts realm at knowing destiny state. For 7 days, Ning Chen stood quietly under the blood waterfall, continuously verifying the martial arts of the 9 transformations of the heavenly demon. His mind was highly concentrated, and he did not notice the changes in his surroundings. In the blood pool in front of the blood waterfall, a beautiful figure appeared. Her body was covered in a light gauze, and her perfect body was shining with a charming white brilliance. Xian Yu appeared, and her gaze was fixed on the young figure under the big waterfall. Her eyes were shining. She wanted this man. A focused man was the most charming. In the 7 paths of demonic sky, he hurt her. Now it was time for him to pay her back. In 7 days, Ning Chen broke through one obstacle after another, stepped into the peak of the 5th level of heaven, and continued to strive for the 6th level of heaven. Once he stepped into the 6th level of star shaking, he could break the barrier of the mortal world celestial realm and step into the legendary 4th level. His aptitude was not as good as the geniuses of the 100 clans, not to mention the princes and princesses of the royal family. To step into the 4th level was as difficult as ascending to heaven. But now, there was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity in front of him. As long as his demonic body could cultivate to the 6th level of heavenly demon and step into the mortal world celestial realm first, he was confident that all 3 of his bodies would step into the 4th level within the next 10 years. Under the blood waterfall, the surging demonic aura became more and more powerful. In Ning Ming's body, the bloodline of the royal heavenly demon became purer and purer under the burning of the blood waterfall. It was infinitely close to the bloodline of the royal family. The peak of the 5th level, the ability to overturn the sea, tried again and again to break through to the star-shaking realm. However, unlike the first 5 levels, Ning Chen failed several times before he reached the star-shaking realm. In the blood pool, Xian Yu looked at Ning Chen quietly, and the smile on her face became gentler. It seemed that the man who hurt her also had times when he was powerless. She raised her delicate hand, and a decadent aura spread out. After a while, the entire blood pool was filled with a pink mist, and nothing could be seen. This is. Her perfect body was faintly discernible and was extremely tempting. The heavenly devil royal princess was a beautiful lady. Although she was ostracized because of her mother's low birth status, no one could deny that Xian Yu's talent was amazing. She entered the king's realm 400 years ago and shocked the entire heavenly devil royal family. Even among the 12 princes and princesses, there were very few who could match her. Step by step, Xian Yu walked forward. The light gauze on her body was removed piece by piece, revealing her fair skin. Her waist-length hair casually hung behind her back. Drops of blood dripped down, making her look even more demonic. Under the blood waterfall, Ning Chen's eyes were closed. He frowned from time to time because of the pain caused by the burning of qi and blood in his body. Xian Yu walked over. She stretched out her delicate hand and gently caressed the face of the person in front of her. She smiled gently and said, "That day, you asked me why I suddenly admitted defeat. Now, Big Sister is telling you that you are the person I have chosen. How can I bear to hurt you?" Chapter 1049. Inside the blood pool in the heavenly demon ancestral land, decadent qi lingered, covering the laws of heaven and earth. Under the blood waterfall, Xian Yu looked at the young man in front of her with a gentle smile. The status of the women of the heavenly demon clan was far inferior to the men. They couldn't even choose their own husband. She was already very lucky. At least she had the chance to choose. Xian Yu raised her hand and gently stroked the young man's face. A faint pink qi filled the air and entered the latter's body. Not long after, Ning Chen's skin gradually turned dark red. His temperature rose sharply, and even his breathing became rapid. Ning Chen abruptly opened his eyes, which were filled with blazing killing intent. He raised his hand and grabbed the woman's throat, forcefully suppressing the instinctive desire that came from his body. He activated his cultivation technique, wanting to kill the woman in front of him before the desire in his body erupted. He was careful with every step, but he didn't expect to be careless. He thought that this place was safe for the time being, so he focused on cultivation and ignored the outside world. He didn't expect that there would be an opponent in the heavenly demon ancestral land. The desire poison spread, and Ning Chen's qi and blood surged violently. He couldn't suppress it. Caught off guard, the poison spread through his meridians, and his consciousness became blurry. 13th brother, I advise you not to struggle. The more you use your qi, the faster the poison will spread. Xian Yu broke free from the former's hand. Her delicate body twisted like a water snake, wrapping around the person in front of her. Get lost. An even stronger stimulation came. Ning Chen's consciousness was attacked by the fire in his body and became even more blurry. In the face of danger, he relied on his strong will to keep calm. He raised his hand and pushed his qi, pressing it against Xian Yu's chest. With a groan, Xian Yu was forced back several steps. Blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. 13th brother, you hurt me. Xian Yu raised her hand and wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth. She wasn't angry, and said softly. Ning Chen raised his hand and forcefully suppressed his drowsy will. His true essence surged out, and in an instant, the wind and snow within 100 miles fell and froze the world. Taking a step forward, Ning Chen took in qi with a flip of his palm. The blood waterfall behind him was pulled and crashed down. Knowing that the person in front of her couldn't hold on for long, Xian Yu stepped forward and dodged the attack. 12 styles of spiritual rhino, 8 void dragon renegade. The appearance of the raging dragon stirred up thousands of waves. Around Ning Chen, the blood pool surged. 8 blood dragons roared as they rushed forward. Knowing destiny, who was full of killing intent, no longer held back. Xian Yu turned her palm to block the attacks, and with her imperial heavenly demon body, she blocked wave after wave of attacks. However, the moon demon divine artifact's effects were difficult to deal with, and she was at a disadvantage. This was the first time Ning Chen had been so angry since entering the primordial demon domain. Cold air spread around him, and the heavenly demon blood in the blood pool showed signs of freezing. 13th brother, do you really hate this sister that much? Xian Yu was puzzled, and she dodged wave after wave of attacks. Her hair covered half of her body, but it could not hide her seductive beauty. Ning Chen did not reply. Holding on to what little consciousness he had left, he grabbed her shoulder, and his body fell rapidly. With a loud rumble, the two fell into the blood pool. The blood pool water soared into the sky, and the battle of life and death below became even more intense. In close combat, every punch landed on flesh. Ning Chen's eyes turned from black to scarlet, and he gradually found it difficult to suppress the desire poison. Just as the two were fighting to the death, in the depths of the heavenly demon ancestral land, 3 intimidating figures watched the battle in the floating city quietly. None of them interfered. He can still maintain his consciousness after being poisoned for so long. This disciple of 9 underworlds is not simple, the 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor said indifferently after watching the battle for a long time. This child's willpower is rarely seen in the world. No wonder he has such great accomplishments at such a young age, the first Demon Emperor said calmly. No one under the Imperial Tao can block Yu's poison. He's not bad, but it's just a meaningless struggle, the 8 Desolation Demon Emperor said. Is it worth it to go to such lengths? The first Demon Emperor sighed softly. As long as Yu is happy, it's worth it, the 8 Desolation Demon Emperor said firmly. The first Demon Emperor heard this and fell silent. He did not say anything else. In the past, Old 8 and Old 9 were the closest, and their personalities were the most similar. He did not expect that nothing had changed after so many years. 8 Desolation, aren't you afraid that you won't be able to explain it to 9 underworlds? The 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor said calmly. 9 underworlds is not a person who cares about trifles. Besides, is my daughter not worthy of his disciple? The 8 Desolation Demon Emperor said calmly. The 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor sneered and said, You and I both know how protective 9 underworlds is. You helped Xian Yu scheme against his disciple. He won't let it go so easily. If 9 Underworlds wants to seek justice for his disciple, I'll accept it, the 8 Desolation Demon Emperor said in a deep voice. In the 9 Underworlds king's mansion, a peerless king in dark purple robes stood quietly under the cold moonlight. Although he looked young, his aura was unusually powerful and domineering. The 9 Underworlds king's expression suddenly froze. He looked into the distance with murderous intent flashing in his eyes. Xianjie warned him that Ning Chen was in danger. Not daring to delay, the 9 Underworlds king took a step forward and turned into a bolt of lightning, flying toward the heavenly demon ancestral land. At the same time, in the depths of the heavenly demon ancestral land, the 8 Desolation Demon Emperor sensed it. He stepped in and disappeared. The 9 Underworlds king arrived in front of the heavenly demon ancestral land. He looked at the floating city in the sky and leaped into the air. 9 Underworlds, this is not a place for you to come. Go back. At this moment, a terrifying aura that seemed to have come from the primordial era descended from the void and blocked his path. The 8 Desolation Demon Emperor had arrived personally to block the 9 Underworlds king's path. Brother, please step aside. The 9 Underworlds king's expression darkened as he spoke. The 8 Desolation Demon Emperor stood in front of him, unmoved. Excuse me. Seeing that words were useless, the black demonic flames around the 9 Underworlds king burned fiercely. The 9 Underworlds battle technique appeared in the world again. The demonic flames condensed into a black spear. In an instant, the king's figure disappeared and reappeared in front of the 8 Desolation Demon Emperor. The black spear pierced through the void, and black flames swept out. It carried a destructive force as it pierced toward the emperor in front of him. The 8 Desolation Demon Emperor raised his hand, and sovereign laws gathered. The area within 10,000 miles instantly turned into a sovereign world. The power of the small world gathered and blocked the black spear. The two extremes clashed, and heaven and earth sank together. The rumbling sound reverberated throughout the primordial demon domain. Heaven and earth were alarmed, and all living beings prostrated themselves. The battle between a supreme emperor and a peerless emperor shocked everyone, and they all looked over. Do it. We can't let these two destroy the primordial demon domain. The 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor said coldly from the deepest part of the heavenly demon ancestral land. The first demon emperor nodded and stepped out of the ancestral land. The 3 emperors appeared at the same time. In the battle before the floating city, Xian Jiuyo's expression turned colder, and the black demonic flames around him burned fiercely. He stood between heaven and earth like a demon god, and his aura was abnormally terrifying. Jiuyo, your disciple will be fine. Go back. The first demon emperor walked out of the void and said to the person in front of him, If he's fine, why would my 3 emperors appear to stop me? Xian Jiuyo said, unable to hide the anger in his eyes. You'll know the reason in 3 days. Can't you even wait for 3 days? The first demon emperor said in a deep voice. I don't want what happened in the past to happen again. As soon as he said that, Xian Jiuyo activated his body, and half of his body burned with blood qi. The blazing black demonic flames lit up the entire night. The terrifying demonic aura filled the entire primordial demon domain. The power that surpassed the limits of a king was so powerful that even heaven and earth began to collapse. The first demon emperor, the 7 Brilliance Demon Emperor, and the 8 Desolation Demon Emperor's expressions turned serious. Their 9th brother had really impressed them. Just as the 3 emperors and the peerless kings were clashing, Ning Chen's desire poison spread in the blood pool, and his eyes were blood red. He was about to lose consciousness, and only had a trace of rationality left. When he was at his wit's end, Ning Chen roared furiously, and his white hair stood up. He used the ultimate move of the 6 ultimate techniques of the heavenly demon domain, Eternal Exile. In the collapsing void, a spatial storm surged, and it quickly devoured the knowing destiny body. The burning battle soul under the night wouldn't yield even if he had to exile himself forever. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.